60 degrees in Paula, California, as we are set to go for round number 5 of the Rocky Mountain ATV MC NGPC series, presented by FMF, hosted by the Sunland Shamrocks. Hello, everybody. My name's Jack Rapello, alongside the one and only Mark Tilley from the Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel and publication. We are set for what should be another thriller here at the Country Club of motocross racing.
You know what? It's nice out there. I just got to get off the track, and it's going to be demanding for all the riders, but they've done a great job. There's some really big jumps here, but man, it's definitely going to test the riders, and it's going to be fun to watch.
And we've got a lot to talk about. You know, I've been on the road for the last 10 days straight. Feel like I just saw Mark a few days ago. I did, because we had the pleasure of calling the two-stroke nationals at Glen Helen Raceway, and let me tell you what, they might need to rename it the NGPC two-stroke nationals, because Dante Oliveira and Dare DeMartille coming through, showing the top riders are here in this series.
Exactly. The only guy that was able to, or the only couple guys that were able to kind of put them on the side is Derek Drake in the first moto, and then he had a problem in the second moto, but there wasn't, and then Carson Brown. So other than that, they pretty much kicked everybody's butt, and saw Dare out here yesterday. Dare and Giacomo Redondi. Giacomo Redondi has been fast all weekend long. Yesterday he dominated the pro class, or their practice, and Dare was right there with him. So it's going to be really fun to see what these guys got.
It is indeed, and I'm so glad you are watching with us, whether you're watching live or on demand. Drop us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from, and stay tuned. Kick those feet up and relax, because we got some horsepower theater as we take a look at the beautiful surroundings of Paula, right next to Temecula, California. Real estate in this area, little pricey for good reason, right? You might not want, if you're like, in I don't know, West Virginia or Tennessee, you might want to have a few bucks if you think about moving to this area.
Yeah, well, it's where we're at right now is actually on the Indian reservation, and there's a casino right down the way. There's a casino down the road as well. But it's definitely one of those things to where this is definitely a nice area. Temecula, not that far. San Diego, not that far away. So we get a lot of people coming from San Diego to ride and race here, and then you got everybody coming from the other parts of Southern California. So, I mean, yesterday we had a little bit of rain. Glen Helen, it sounds like, got a bunch of rain, but we had a little bit of rain, and it's kind of a cool thing. So Mother Nature's already smiling on us, and we're ready to go racing again.
Yes, indeed. A lot to talk about. And again, guys, off the top, I mentioned our presenting club, the Sunland Shamrocks. We simply could not do it without them. I believe earlier on, our own Craig Hunter got to catch up with the Shamrocks. Let's take you to that.
I am here with the Sunland Shamrocks, Clint Van Epps and Oakley Lehman. Clint, you have been the president for, the last 6 years? 6 years. And could you just give us a little background on your club and the heritage?
So we were formed in 1950. Like Craig said, I've been the president the past 6 years. This is our 39th annual Grand Prix. Our first Grand Prix was 1986, and I believe that was LACR. But we're still going. The club's been around since the 50s, and we're keeping it going. It's a tough job. Takes a lot of club members to keep it going, and we're a thriving club right now.
Oh, awesome! I mean, 1986 was that'd make it 1986 your first Grand Prix at LACR. You said you've been to Sunrise Cycle Park. You did at least a decade at Prim, and now this is your second year here at Paula.
Second year at Paula. So the first year was, we had a place to come to. The Paula Raceway allowed us to come here, and, we were kind of new at the facility, and we did make changes this year, and it made it a great racetrack this year.
No, awesome. I got great feedback from the racers yesterday. I raced myself, and a really great course. I'd like to bring in Oakley. Oakley, you've been along at District 37, for as long as I can remember. In fact, we raced, 30 years ago together. You're an old stunt guy from Hollywood and stuff. But what does it take to put on a Grand Prix out here? I mean, you've been around a long time. Can you just kind of enlighten the people what it takes?
Yeah, it's a lot of work for sure. Thankful for the Paula Mission Bandit Indians for letting us use this amazing national caliber track to start with. And then they have a lot of acreage where we were able to build in a truly off-road Grand Prix where it has challenging sections, sand, hard-packed rocks, a little bit of everything. So it keeps you on your toes and it makes for great racing. This year we've been blessed by God above for the great weather. A little bit of rain every night, so it's a lot better than last year in my opinion.
No, absolutely. I know your club is, you have a large club, and obviously all you guys are out here. It's the labor of love. None of you guys are getting paid, and you're all volunteers.
Yeah, that's correct. There's a lot of guys up there fixing where the courses get blown out, or guys take little cheat lines. We're up there fixing it and stuff. So it does create a lot of work versus Grand Prix tracks that have been there forever, and it's just you just follow the Glen Helen Ridge. This is a little different than that, but it's making for great racing.
No, absolutely. I mean, the NGPC is primarily conformed of District 37 clubs, and without clubs such as the Shamrocks, the NGPC would not be here. So we salute you guys and all the other District 37s that make this a great series of race. Is there anybody else that you'd like to thank?
Oh, yeah, everybody for coming out and helping. The district does awesome. Just all the volunteers helping up top. The water truck, the Paula Supplies guys that do so good. They're up at 5:30 in the morning watering at 10:30 at night. It's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Now, we appreciate you guys, and back to you guys in the booth.
We appreciate it. Thanks so much, Shamrocks. You guys are awesome. Could not do it without you. And how about our new sideline reporter? Shout out NGPC's Craig Hunter. Move over, Aaron Andrews. Move over, Will Christian. There is a new man in town. Well, speaking of man, I'll tell you, the man of this series the last few weeks, last few months has been Giacomo Redondi. Super fast. Giacomo is going to take us for a lap around on his Kawasaki. Let's check out this racetrack. Here we go. Giacomo Redondi. Well, Mark, you just came off the track. Congratulations. You won again, taking home another plaque. Why don't you take us through this?
Well, the start's not a really long start, and then it kind of comes into this. And these guys spend a lot of time here testing and riding and stuff like that. There's a big triple up right there, triple up to and there'll be a national here not too long. It comes back to the side right here, and then, they didn't show it. But that was a big step up and over. Now he's off the moto and into the off-road section. And where we go, Giacomo fell right there. Yes, sir.
Giacomo.
We're gonna see. That's me going by him right there. Oh, my gosh. I'd slowed down to ask him if he was okay, but, man,
poor guy.
He definitely...
Mark, maybe you should stop longer than that. That was like a wave. That was a flyby.
Justice. He wadded himself up. Like, to me, all I saw was elbows and you know what. And it was... so this is him getting up and then charging through the pack. But so there's a lot of flat corners out there. A lot of flat corners and a very unique setup. Not like any other round that we go to. Flat corners, and then there's a bunch of different types of terrain. Like, it might look like, it's kind of just riding around, but you're going to go through 4 or 5 different types of dirt back there. So then when you kind of come across something, then this is going through all the flat corners, and then this is more in the forest end that is going to be there's silty points in this, but he's got to kind of work his way through some of these riders. But this is a different type of terrain than what you're used to going anywhere, because we don't have any of that type of stuff. And then this kind of comes back into the flat cornering, and you kind of drop down, and I like to call it the parking lot area, because it is flat. And you're hitting hard. He's getting a little excited. He's kind of going off the course a little bit, but I know that he came back to me and he had no problems passing me and just yarding me. So it's definitely, that didn't show some of the sections that are really rocky for just the pro section. So we'll see what happens.
I am so glad he's okay. And without further ado, it is time for our HM Factory call-ups. Let's get round number 5 of the Rocky Mountain ATV MC NGPC Series, presented by FMF, hosted by the Shamrocks, underway. And we begin with our pro women. Here she comes, ladies and gentlemen, the big number one out of Riverside, California. She rides the Honda CRF 250 RX out of Monster Energy SLR. She's got quite a win streak going. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen, for Michaela Moto KK Nielsen. And in hot pursuit of Moto KK, playing hurt here this weekend, doing a fine job, always fast on her Gas EX 250F out of Troy Lee Designs Gas, Redwood City, California's own Ava Silvestri. Big stacked field of women here this weekend, and we love it. How about a big Paula, California, welcome to number 813 on a Yamaha. Here is Ty Woolslayer. Starting in the number 4 spot today on a 108 Husqvarna. Let's give it up for the always tough Dana Rayner. And rounding out today's field in the AHM Pro Women Division, how about the 402 KTM rider of the always tough Madison Weber? Good luck to all of our ladies today as we now turn our attention to the 250s, a class we like to call Pro 2. And we begin with a man who has been tough to beat this year, creeping up there in overall performance, always a threat to win any given race. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Melbourne, Australia, on a KTM 250 XCF out of FMF RPM KTM Racing, let's hear it for Mason Simmons. Always on the tail of Simmons, a very tough rider on the Kawasaki KX 250X out of Hatch Racing, California, out of Simi Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Cowboy, Colton Eck. And this is, we went out of order here. Let's hear it for, ladies and gentlemen, he's out of Australia on a Husqvarna FC 250, Sam Pretschira. And that brings us to Murrieta, California's own on a Husqvarna FC 250 out of Gainslinger Human Performance. Here is Cole Zeller. Out of Temecula, California on a Husqvarna FC 250 out of Three Bros Hatch Husqvarna. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Supercross, Kai Aiello. This man is such a force, such a legend, we're going to introduce him twice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, out of Simi Valley, California, on a Hatch Racing Kawasaki, it's the Cowboy, Colton Eck. This man rides the 508 Gas out of the proud Davis Racing family. Let's hear it for Dustin Davis. Starting from the 7th spot today, number 41 on a KTM. Let's hear it for the always tough Noah Gordon. Rider 185 on a gas. Ladies and gentlemen, here he comes. Let's hear it for Zachary Curling. And rounding out the field today in the Pro 2 category, number 356 on a Kawasaki. Let's give a great big welcome to Alicio Sasso. And that is your field, ladies and gentlemen, for today's Pro 2. It will be hotly contested. I cannot wait to see who's going to get the early edge. As we now turn our attention to the unlimited category, the pro category, and we begin with one of the hottest talents in the motorcycle world, fresh off his win at the Two-Stroke Nationals at Glen Helen Raceway. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a five-time defending series champion out of Factory Red Bull KTM. Let's hear it for Dante Oliveira. And starting in the number 2 spot today, he rides for Monster Energy SLR Honda. 1 win to his credit this year. Boy, he's been red hot. Out of Utah, here's the 24 of Tyler Lynn. Second place at last week's Two-Stroke Nationals at Glen Helen Raceway. This man comes from Lincoln, California on a Beta 480RR Liqui Moly Beta Factory Racing. Let's hear it for the 200 of Dare D. Martil. In the number 4 spot today, this man comes all the way from Italy on a Mitch Payton prepared Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Here is the one, the only, Giacomo Ridondi. In the number 5 spot today, tough as nails, playing hurt with a banged up knee, still going to try to win this thing, ladies and gentlemen, from right up the road in Corona, California, on a Honda CRF 450RX out of Monster Energy SLR Honda. Here's the 951 of Ryan Surratt. Starting in the number 6 spot today, this man rides the 239 Blue Crew Yamaha. Let's welcome in Hayden Flores. In the number 7 spot, rider of the 139 Husqvarna, here is Damon Woolslayer. And in the number 8 spot today, rider number 11 on the big bad red Honda, please welcome Jack Menta. And that is it, Mark Tilley. We are set to go. The gate is packed. Talent galore. We are ready to go racing from a beautiful Sunday here from Fox Raceway, the Country Club of Motocross. It's going to be the Country Club of Off-Road Racing today. A little bit of something for everybody. A little moto, little flat track, little rough trail. It's going to be unpredictable. It's going to be wild. What are your thoughts heading in, Mark?
You know what? The big thing here is get to the off-road section first. If you can get through the motocross course and to the off-road section, then
Let's go racing as we salute Old Glory in this great country that affords us the freedoms to enjoy the horsepower, the speed, the adrenaline that we love. We turn our attention to this meticulously prepped racetrack that is ready for hundreds of riders to tackle it right now in multiple different categories. I am ready. Look at these beautiful surroundings, too. We're in wine country out here. We are in the posh, beautiful mountains of Paula, California. As you mentioned moments ago, Mark, this will be round number 1 of the Outdoor Series right here. As we take a look at today's starting lineup, here are a few to watch. Obviously, Dante Oliveira, I continue to ask the Dirt Bike Magazine outlook of where does he stand overall when you look at motorcycle racing as a whole?
Yeah, right now he's one of the most, all of these riders are talented, but he's definitely one of the most successful riders that's out there. Whatever he shows up to ride off-road, he's a threat to win. He's got the great toolage of Timmy Wiegand helping him out with all that stuff, KTM team manager, and you can't really bet against him. But then, you have the people like Giacomo Redondi, who is a former world champion, and that's kind of in the world championships. They run flat corners like this a lot and really rocky sections. So, you know what? I think that with that new team, with that new Pro PC Coatings team, and backed by Pro Circuit and Bones and all the guys down there, I think he's really come alive this year. And I know that I could stay close to him for a while, and now I can't even stay close to him for a quarter of a lap unless he goes down like he did on the track Mac. But you know what? It's great to see all of these people coming. Seeing the plus 25 junior class, that's a stat class. We got to talk to Trevor Hunter yesterday about that, and then we're featuring the open two-stroke classes, and we talked to Low Lord yesterday. This is his second year in the at NGPC, jumped up from the B class last year into the A class this year, and went from a YZ 125 to a KTM 250. So it's definitely nice to see. And then you have the women's class that it keeps getting bigger and bigger and steady and more steady with people showing up and women showing up and showing that even in the kids races, the amateur races, there's lots of little girls looking up to these young ladies that are making sure that they want to be up there someday. So, you know what? Great weather, great riding weather. Like Oakley was saying in the feature we did on the Sunland Shamrocks is, the Lord above has looked out for us because it's been moisture every single night and a little bit yesterday, and so it's all time to go racing. I know that we did do a thing with one of the series sponsors. Ride Engineering gave away a triple clamp. You got to enter to win a triple clamp, and Jason Eck at the Racer's Edge just texted me and said that the winner of the triple clamps, thanks to Ride Engineering, Adrian over at Ride Engineering, the winner of the triple clamps is Shane Rucker. So I don't know if he's already got his triple clamps, but if he hasn't got his triple clamps and he wants to go grab those and wrestle them out of Jason's hands, go ahead and do that. But thanks again to the series sponsor, Ride Engineering, and Adrian Como over there at Ride Engineering for doing stuff. He said that he might actually hit up the Marysville round, so we might see Adrian at that. But lots of good stuff happening.
Yes, thank you, Adrian, and all of our wonderful sponsors. Support those who support your sport. We'll hit them all throughout this broadcast. Also, from what I understand, FMF is going to be giving away a pipe to the winner of the two-stroke class today, so we'll try to keep you abreast of that as we take a look at today's starting lineup. Again, typically in the NGPC series, we see a dead engine start. We're going to do a traditional motocross gate drop here, just like we did last round at Mesquite, because that's an MX facility as well. You got to believe guys that are used to this MX-type start, like Dante, like Dare DeMartille, could have an advantage in this situation. Speaking of that, too, I spoke with Dare DeMartille and his father, and I said, what is the key to beating Dante here? He said, man, we got to get the start. We understand how important it is, and we got to go for it. So right now, everybody watching at home, everybody surrounding that orange number 1, I think you're going to see a lot of people going for it right here. And look at it. It is a much longer start than what we had in Mesquite.
It looks long, but it's not that long compared to some of the off-road starts that we do, sometimes we have a lot more length. But yeah, it is longer than definitely what we saw at Mesquite. Mesquite, you couldn't really shift. This one, they're going to be shifting. And you notice all of those guys lined up to the inside. They want to get to that inside line and out of that corner. And as you can see up in the upper left-hand corner, it shows the off-road section. Like I was saying, it's a big deal to get to that off-road section first, because no matter how much they water it, no matter how much they groom it, it's going to be dusty. So getting to that section is half the race right there, because if you could get to that section first, then you can kind of put some distance on your competitors, because they got to slow down because it gets dusty.
Well, cannot wait. Do we know roughly how many miles? Do you know the mileage on this, Mark?
I don't know that. I know that it's about I don't know if the pros are going to run the pro section that they ran yesterday. That made it about 2 minutes longer.
Okay.
But I want to say it's about a 10-minute lap time. So they're winding all up in those hills and doing all kinds of stuff. But I don't know what the pro section was. The pro section is basically what we ran last year in some of the stuff.
And I do believe 30-second card coming off. We are inching closer to a start, ready to drop the gate. On round number 5, we are off. Who will grab the whole shot? Look at the orange number 1. Can he do it? Wait a minute, a Honda out in front. No, it is Factory Beta's Dare DeMartille. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. Dante to the outside, firing right back. Can Dare make it stick? We are bar to bar here on the opening lap. Dante Oliveira goes out in front. Boy, Dare gave it everything he got there. I thought he was going to make that whole shot stick, but Dante fires right back. And here comes Giacomo Redondi to the outside. What a 1-2-3 battle to open it up, Mark.
Exactly. And then they're dealing with lots of that's the stuff is really slippery. But so right here, this starts into the off-road. They go up this section right here and then kind of go past everybody and then go into the off-road.
This is our Pro 2 start getting together, getting loose. Who's out front? It is a white bike. Is it Aiello? Is it Brett Shearer? Is it Zeller? I can't tell from this vantage point just yet. Looks like a Honda behind him, couple white bikes behind him.
That could be Zeller as well. I think that's who it is.
As soon as we get a look at the number, we will.
Number 30. I think that's number 39, Cole Zeller.
Cole Zeller, it was great to talk to him pre-race. Another one who just continues to improve as our pro women, I believe, just blasted off. Wow, big lead developing out there. Mark, your eyes are better than mine. You're thinking that's the... Oh, no, here we go with the pro women right here.
I know it wasn't Kai because he's in Fox gear.
Moto KK trying to get the whole shot. She is riding an unbeaten streak into this
Ava
race.
Going underneath her.
Oh, my.
Oh, nice.
Is that Ava?
That's Ava.
Ava out in front. Ava technically with the whole shot gets the start on Moto KK. Can she make it stick? Got to give a big shout out to Ava, too, because visited with her moments ago. Oh, man. Her thighs, her back are badly bruised. She had a nasty crash last week playing hurt, but doing a great job. Her father told me when she first got here, it was a little stiff because of the injury, but she's loosened up. And Moto KK has been able to find a way around. But let's see if Ava can hang with her out there. Ava's pretty fast on this racetrack. And here comes the rest of our women as well. Nice to see this field growing. Ladies out there, if you're watching, please come on out here and race with us.
Well, and then this is going to be the 4-stroke open class. And
is this where the 22?
Lorenzo and I think Lorenzo is the one that's been kind of dominating this class. Kodiak Lehman's in this class.
Wow,
that
big
is
air.
Big jump.
Big air. Lorenzo Lane grabbing a handful of that gas. Teammates with Ava Silvestri. Talked to Lorenzo pre-race as well. He says the plan is definitely to step it on up to Pro 2 next year. If he keeps running like this, how could you blame him?
Yeah, and when he gets out front, it's hard for those guys to make the moves and get past him.
Somebody ready to battle with Lorenzo right away, though. We got a new leader.
Yeah.
Great battles here early on. Here comes the stacked full gate. Oh, my. Look at this one, Mark. Into turn 1 we go. Little bit of contact emerging out front.
This is our our plus 25 class. And
Garvin. Is it Garvin with the whole shot?
That's Garvin going around. Or no, that's I believe that's Nick Nays.
Nick Nays.
Yeah, that might be Nick who got that start, but I know that that's our boy, our Swifty in second place, though.
Trevor Hunter.
We talked to him a little bit about the change or the move from the pro class to the plus 25 class. So we'll hear about that a little bit later. But
do you think Trevor now feels completely overshadowed by his superstar father, who is now a sideline reporter for motocross?
You know what? I said something about that. He said the only way that his dad overshadows him is in stature, and he gives him shade from the sun. But other than that, he's not worried about it.
Oh, you guys are brutal. Craig, for the record, that was not me. All right, guys, well, stay with us. We'll be back to sort it all out. We're just getting started. Round number 5 of the NGPC. And we got a pass. Don't go anywhere. Round 5. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Jeremy McGrath, and I trust Maxxis tires. It's the only way I roll.
Welcome back to the scenic surroundings of Paula, California. We're here in wine country. It is the impassioned round number 5 of the Rocky Mountain ATV MC NGPC series, presented by FMF, hosted by the Sunland Shamrocks. My name is Jack Rapella from the Cycle Drag YouTube channel. Alongside me, Mark Tilley from Dirt Bike Magazine. And Mark, we got some quick laps going on right here. They're getting around this track even quicker than we expected.
Yeah, definitely quicker than we expected, but not the people we expected to be up front are up front and going at it. So Dante was able to make that pass and get into the lead and, you know, get into the off-road section. Apparently they're not running the pro section that they ran yesterday because I think we cut away right as they were going to go into that. But, you know, these guys are they can stay this close because the club and the facility here has done a great job prepping this course and giving them something to where there's going to be racing. They stayed this close on the first lap. It's going to be good racing. So
wow. And look at that man right there. One of the hottest motorcycle riders on the planet. I put him right up there with Cooper Webb, Hayden Deegan, Chase Sexton. That is Dante Oliveira. My friend was asking, well, why is Dante so good? I said, look, he just won the 2-stroke nationals. He dominates NGPC. He goes to GNCC and wins. He goes to outdoor motocross and hangs. I asked Bobby Dawson, seriously, his head mechanic, I said, have you guys ever got a call from Ian Harris, race team manager, about him setting up for a whole season for the outdoors? And they said, never really had that conversation. KTM likes to keep synergy between Supercross and motocross. They want you to do both. But they again emphasized that Dante's number one goal this year is to win 6 days. He was on the podium a couple years ago, had somewhat of a disappointing performance last year in Spain by his standards. Still did a very good job, but I believe this year ISD moves to Italy, and Dante's hoping to win it all for the United States.
This is the pro section, so that maybe they just went through the pro section way faster than I thought they did. So last year, everybody kind of ran this section, but over the year it got a lot gnarlier. So this section, that's not just dirt. Like that's rocks. Like, and you can see that kind of Dare falling off the back of that, making sure that he could see. But like as you can see, getting to that section first is definitely a advantage for sure. And they might not have done it the first lap, but they said that this section, so they're able to get water in this side of it. So last year I think we went down to the side right there. But then this comes back and it kind of wraps around, and then I believe you get on that road right there and kind of come down, and then you're dropping back down into the flat sections that those guys are running. And like I said, this is a section that the average sportsman riders did not ride. This is a pro section only. And it's rocky. Like that doesn't do it any justice. Getting down there's probably more rocks than there is dirt.
A rocky and unsettling section, that's for sure. A very diverse race course. Well, Mark, take me inside the mind of a racer right now, because we're in the early stages. Dante's starting to pull away, as you can see with this great aerial coverage. If you're Giacomo, if you're Dare, how do you stop that orange bike from getting too far ahead?
Yeah, I think these guys are going all out right now. I think that they're doing everything they can to keep him close, and Dante does such a good job of kind of monitoring the race and monitoring his lead from the front. I mean, he's got great racecraft, but you know he does his best work from the front. Not that he can't come from behind, but you know he's got all the confidence in his motorcycle with Bobby Dawson doing all that stuff. But these guys, they're going as hard as they can, and they don't want him to get away. And you know what? They're really not letting him get away. I mean, he's not pulling out. The dust maybe not a big of a deal as what I thought it would be, but you know these guys kind of just run it wide open all the time.
Yeah, there are certain sections where you can see Dare and Giacomo tend to close in a little bit. There's sections where Dante starts to pull away and widen that gap out a little bit. One thing I'd like to mention, too, is we got to say get well Mateo Oliveira. Unfortunately, he's not in the starting lineup today. He was injured last week at a hare scramble, had to have surgery, but his family and team is very hopeful he'll be back for our next round in June in Marysville.
Yeah, he made it through the AMA West Coast hare scrambles being hurt. I think he finished second or third overall, or second or third in the Open Pro class. I know he's going for that championship. So, yeah, shout out to him, and hopefully he gets better. And definitely one of those things to where, he's hurt and he's still going for it. So if he thought he could do it this weekend, he would have done it. He would have held off that surgery as well. So that a racing family, and tough as nails, that's for sure.
Great aerial coverage courtesy of Seat Concepts and our friends from Skaggs Racing. We got to give a huge shout out to Tim Skaggs, major supporter of this broadcast, major supporter of this series. He races himself, and get a load of this. He's got a total of 9 riders that he supports, gets them graphics, pays them contingency. He does everything he can to support grassroots racing, and I think that is so awesome. Mark.
Oh yeah, he's got he said that he has a bunch of Hondas, and then he has some other stuff too, that he doesn't make his riders ride a certain brand. If they want to ride something else, he helps them out as much as he can, and it's one of those things to where we need people like this looking out for the future of the sport. And thanks for him and his entire team for making some of this stuff happen for racers that need the help.
Another great sponsor we got to shout out is the one and only Maxxis Mike Farmer. Not here with us this weekend. We hope that he can be here soon. He's such a fixture out in the pits. I know a lot of these great racers running that awesome Maxxis tires. So Maxxis Mike, we want to see you back here real soon. That is for sure. As we continue to watch this 1, 2, 3 battle as Dare DiMartile and Giacomo Rodandi try to figure out a way to not let Dante get too far. Now, I'm curious about pit strategy. I only talked to one mechanic about pit strategy, and that was Mason Simmons, head guy, who said they're probably coming in about 30 minutes. He said it's going to be a quick pit stop. That's just what Mason did. I don't know if other people are going to follow suit, but that is Cameron Perinsky out there who told me they want to get it over with. They said this is not a track where you burn a lot of fuel. They want to fill it up and have enough to go to the end. So we'll see what the other teams decide to do.
Well, and that's definitely a unique way of doing it, because it's backwards from what it normally happens. That looks like Michaela Nielsen is... I don't know if those guys are getting by or if she's got a problem.
It almost looks like
she's...
she got a flat tire?
They would be running mousses. I think that the team runs... Mark Samuels and the SRR team runs nitro mousses with Dunlop tires. So I don't think, unless there's a rear wheel problem. But it looks like... So Giacomo on the flat corners is definitely a little bit faster. I got the pleasure of getting roosted by him yesterday in this section, actually, and he just flows through this. He's on the gas sooner, and like I said, that the World Enduros have a lot of courses like this to where you got to hang it out a little bit. So I look for him to be fast in these sections, and then he was just as fast as those guys on the moto sections as well. So it's great that these guys can stay this close in an off-road race, because that means that dust isn't that big of a factor. So it's definitely a nice thing. I mean, like I said, the sections that they're coming up right now is so rough and so rocky that this doesn't do it any justice.
That's right, and we've got a long way to go, guys. Take a look at that timer on your screen with the leaderboard. We've still got an hour and 12 minutes plus. Remember, these races are a minimum of 90 minutes. They will not throw the white flag prematurely until they know we're going over 90 minutes, and that's why you're taking a look at some of the most finely conditioned athletes in the world. And there is the man who won the two-stroke nationals last week on a KTM 300. Now, Mark, I'm going to have to get your take on this. Don't ever want to disparage the credibility of one Bobby Dawson, because I love him dearly, but he's claiming to me that was a stock 300 that Dante was on. Truly amazing. A couple of the other competitors raised an eyebrow a little bit and said, whoa. But I asked Bobby again. I said, was that thing really stock? He said it was a stock.
You know what?
300.
We're doing a story on it. I just wrote a story on that motorcycle. And in that story, I actually talk about internally it was a stock bore and stroke. There might be some kind of electrical stuff going on with different mapping and stuff like that, but no ignition, no anything like that, no porting on that thing, nothing along those lines. So he is telling the truth. Now, suspension-wise, he's got the crew at WP doing the suspension. He's got it set up, and then he's got Bobby setting it up for him personally. But, yeah, I was surprised when I was shooting it in the studio how stock it was. So he's not lying to you. He's actually telling you the truth. And even more impressive than him going out and winning and doing that. Naturally, there was a little bit of a issue with Derek Drake's bike because I think Derek Drake would have had that race won. And I did have some people come up to me when I was coming in here on Friday asking me how we didn't know who Derek Drake was. And I kind of said, well, I said, and it just happened to be Myron from 2X Promotion. And I go, you only know Derek Drake because he's married to your daughter. And, so I didn't realize that Derek Drake is a fairly accomplished amateur, and we should know who he is, but he's had that Lyme disease for like the last 4 or 5 years, and they just kind of got it under control. So I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of that guy. I know we're going to see him at MotoFest here in a couple weeks.
Can't wait for that. Certainly hoping he's on the up and up. And remember, guys, you can check out the Two-Stroke Nationals on Mark Tilley's Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel. Great broadcast available for you right there. As we take a look at some more of the wonderful action here, round number 5. But, you know, I have no problem talking about that race because I know the folks, all the brass, all the higher-ups here at NGPC are so proud of that man and Dare and everybody else who showed up to the Two-Stroke Nationals and really represented NGPC with pride.
Yeah,
very, very impressive.
Exactly. And then we're going to hopefully be able to highlight some of the people in the open two-stroke open class and kind of go from there. So it's definitely two-strokes are all the rage, and it's not just right now. It's the cool part that we saw about at the two-stroke race is that there was 30-year-old two-strokes and brand new two-strokes. So
I love it.
Definitely a cool thing. So I think we're looking at the Pro 2 class right here. And I know that's Dustin Davis right there. I don't know what these positions are, but that looked like a Husky out in front of that gas. So we'll have to see where those guys are at in the running order. But in the Open Pro class, we got Dante out front, Giacomo's in second, Dare's in third, Tyler Lynn kind of running around in fourth, and then Wolfslayer in fifth place in the Open Pro class. And like I said, those guys are headed. The guys that we're watching right now in the Pro 2 class are headed to the Pro only section.
Wow, look at this.
And you can see, like, those guys are going up that straight line. The course actually started going to the right and then back to the left. So kind of shows you somebody bombed it through there at one point in time, wanting to make up a little bit of time, and now they've all just kind of reacted. And you can see how those bikes are dancing around. You can see Dustin Davis's bike, the back end dancing around over there. Those guys are running mousses or foam inserts that they don't have to worry about getting flats. If something happens to their tires, it's because the wheel has come apart pretty much. So it looks like in the Pro 2 class, we're looking at Mason Simmons out front, Davis in second. I think that that might have changed. There, we have a Husky in between him. So, but it shows Dustin Davis in second, Kai Aiello in third, Sam Pritchard in fourth, and Colton Ake in fifth. So it'll be interesting to see if Colton can put a charge on and get up into those top three positions. But Dustin Davis, brand new to the Pro 2 class, it's pretty impressive getting up there and running with these guys.
I would say so. And equally impressive has been Mason Simmons' ascension to the top of the overall ranks as of late. Fourth overall at Mesquite, I believe. And that is with the staggered start. It's so impressive. Can't wait to see him next year in the Open Pro category. A lot of people talking about stepping up. It will be interesting to see. Colton Eck, from what I understand, visited with him and his lovely wife, Sierra. He's feeling much better. Mark, you can probably relate to this. She told me concussion symptoms are gone. Now the problem is all that time inactive has caused his conditioning to go down a little bit. So now they're working on running. They're working on getting back in the gym and getting his fitness back up. But a tremendous job by Dustin Davis. Kai Aiello doing great as well. And Sam Pritchard continues to do a tremendous job out of Australia.
Yeah, and I heard that Sam has Pit Boss Bob in his doing his pits again. And I should have talked to him a little bit about his pit strategy as well, because Bob being part of our race crew, he was talking about it a little bit, but I don't know if he would let me divulge what he's doing because he kind of keeps that stuff real close to him.
It was great to see Robbie Bell down there. Got to talk with him for a little bit. He's not too far away from his home. And so many of these great riders like Mason Simmons talk about just how important Robbie Bell is to their program. I asked Robbie, what are you doing? He said he just really stresses consistency. It's about doing all the little things right, not just dialing in the bike, but having the correct mental approach, doing the work in the off season, doing the work in between races, and it seems like everybody who's working with Robbie Bell is doing an exceptional job.
Yeah, no, Robbie's doing a great job with that stuff, and he's kind of taken the passion that he had for the race team that he ran. He ran the Kawasaki race team for a long time, raced on the Kawasaki race team for a long time as well, but he's taken all that and putting it towards something that he's passionate about. He wants to help these guys and have them be the best that they can be, and it's definitely paying off. Him and his dad, Bob Bell at Precision Concepts. I think they swept the Pro 2 podium a few times this year, and so whatever they're doing a good job at it. That's for sure.
More racers coming through the Yamaha finish line. We'll keep you abreast on our current results as we get fresh readings from these transponders. Dozens of racers out there right now in multiple different categories. We know Oliveira leading Open Pro 2 led by Simmons. So a great day thus far for KTM. Only 30 minutes from their headquarters. I'm sure they've got a few of the brass, a few of the big dogs down here. In fact, you were talking about WP. The guys from WC Suspension are here with us this weekend.
Yeah, well, and that rider right there is Lo Lord. He is the rider that is on the two-stroke open class. But we talked to Lo yesterday about him and kind of his program and how it's changed. So let's see what Lo had to say about racing the two-stroke open class.
All right, so it seems like two-strokes are all the rage in the moto industry right now, and we're going to feature the two-stroke open class, and the man that is ruling the two-stroke open class as of right now is Lo Lord. Now, Lo, you're fairly new to this series. This is, you said, your second year in this series, so what brought you to this series?
Well, I was doing AMA, WHS, West Terra Scrambles, and like any kind of fill-in District 36 races, and I kind of wanted to change in something a little more, featuring a little more moto, a little more fast pace, and I'm like, let's try some NGPC. So I came here, did B125, had some good battles with that, and then just this year decided, I guess it's time, we're going to move up to 250s and go race with the big dogs. So just basically change of scenery and faster pace is what I was looking for.
So now going from the B class into the A class, the open two-stroke open class, now you got to ride for an hour and a half now in the main event. How did you have to train a little bit different, or have you trained any different for that?
Well, so with the WHS stuff that I do, back on Super Minis, we were already racing for an hour and a half, and then once I got to 125s and big bikes, we're racing for 2.5 hours. So this is like, the time-wise is a little bit easier, but you're at a way faster pace, so you're sprinting a lot more. So basically I just had to work on my sprints and being able to sprint for those first 2 laps, and then setting like a good fast pace to be able to hang with them and just kind of take it home from there.
So now you got a chance to ride this course today. What's it going to take to bring home the win tomorrow in the main event?
Definitely my starts. I got to work on my start a little bit. I had a good jump, but just couldn't keep the front end down. Being able to ride the ruts, even with the chop in them, got to be able to ride the good ruts. And then the rocks. The rocks are one of the hardest things out here because it's not like rocks that are dug into the ground. It's loose rocks, so you could come around a corner, next thing you know you're going into the bushes. That happened to me a couple of times today, but it's just being able to ride through those rocks, getting a good jump, hopefully hole shotting and staying out of that dust more than anything.
Now, is there anybody else, or is there anybody you'd like to thank for getting you here?
My mom, Rob, 707 Suspension, Singe Graphics, Works Connection, PCP, Roseville Yamaha, anyone else that I can think of. Just thank you all.
All right, well, there you have it. That's what Lo says about his when he's coming into the NGPC series, and keep an eye out for him. He's got a bright pink helmet. You can't really miss him.
Well, great job, Mark, and it is cool to meet some of our other riders out there. Wow, as we get right back into some heavy action, Derek DiMartile looking for a way around the Pro Circuit Kawasaki of Giacomo Redondi. Can Derek DiMartile stay red hot after his second-place finish at the two-stroke nationals? Whoa.
And like I said, that's right before they go into the pro section, and these guys can kind of spread out a little bit. If they get close enough to the rider in front of them, they can break that dust barrier to where they're not making a lot of dust. Dare Wright on this out of this kind of gets the short end of the stick, because not only is he getting Giacomo's dust, but he's also getting Dante's dust as well. But it's pretty amazing these guys are staying that close to each other over this type of terrain. I mean, if we walk that later on, it's kind of like Supercross. We don't see on TV, everybody sits there and goes, oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
And then you walk it afterwards, and it's amazing what those guys are going through. And these guys are the same as those athletes that we watched last night in Supercross. That does not do it justice. That stuff is rough.
It hurts to walk. I've walked it a few times. So shout out to these guys. And that transition's not easy as well. We talk so much about tire choice, just being a little bit of pavement. When you hit it hard on one of those silty, sandy pavement sections after hammering it in the dirt, you really have to be careful. You could spin the tire out there and go down.
Exactly. We were talking about Maxxis being a sponsor of the series, and they have tires for just about anything you want to do, whether you want to do hard terrain, soft terrain. They got like what looks like a paddle tire that some of the other guys are calling paddles. But, I mean, they got just about any kind of terrain or any kind of type of tire for any type of terrain that you could want. I mean, and then they have a whole semi here that they'll mount it for you and do all that kind of stuff. So these guys definitely, I know that Dare's on Bridgestones. I believe the KTM team runs Dunlops, and like I said, all these guys are running mooses, whether it's a Nitro moose or a Dunlop or a Bridgestone moose. I believe Maxxis does make some type of foam insert, but yeah, it's definitely making sure that they don't have to worry about flats. I got a flat in my race because sometimes running moose is a little bit abrupt for me. I'm all about comfort. So, but it's definitely nice to see these guys staying that close to each other.
Well, I'm glad you were okay and still able to get the win. So congratulations, Mark Tilley, as we're already coming up on a lapper. Great job by that lapper to get out of the way, out of this battle. Dante continues to hold his lead, and Derek continues to pour on the coal, trying to stock that Pro Circuit Kawasaki of Giacomo Redondi. The Beta's doing such a wonderful job out there. And there is Moto KK. Let's get an update on her. It looked like she was off the pace earlier. We believe she is leading. She certainly doesn't look off the pace now.
Whatever her problem was, she got it figured out because she's definitely looking smooth.
Perhaps Moto KK had a cramp. Who knows? She is rocking the brand new Jeff Emig white grips here today. She had the blue grips on yesterday. Juan and Carlos, the head mechanics down there at SLR, said she requested the white grips today. She wanted the special whiteys.
Yeah, the white grips are the soft ones. So if you can get the white grips, if your hands get blisters, you go with the white ODI grips. I think those, and I think the Jeff Emig ones are the Emig 2s, the lock-on versions. So you don't have to worry about them spinning. But yeah, so it looks like in the Pro 2 class we have Simmons, Davis, Prashar, Ake, Aiello, Zeller, Gordon, Simpson, Curling, and Sasso.
Davis having a career day potentially.
Yeah.
So
well, you know what? You need sometimes you need a little bit of a breakout ride. But yeah, look at whatever her issue was earlier, she's got it figured out now for sure.
That girl can fly. Moto KK getting some big air out there. My goodness. Not afraid to let this thing breathe. Mark, you were even talking about how big some of the jumps are, how peaky they are here. A lot of these tracks we come to at the NGPC series, we typically don't have huge jumps, but what I'm seeing out there, not a whole lot different than what they'll be running a month from now at the Pro National.
No, and a lot of these top pros that are racing here too will come here a lot to race to practice here because it does get rough. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, those jumps. There's lots of jumps out there that I didn't do, like those that big up and over that we saw Moto KK just do not too long ago, and then the jumps even going into the back section they're definitely larger than my likings, and I know that it takes a lot to pull the trigger on them, that's for sure.
We're here in Moto KK now with a 40-second lead over Ava Silvestri, so her win streak still intact. It's been over a year since anybody has been able to defeat her in the series. Moto KK running into a lapper right now who gets out of the way and lets her through, but certainly one of the most dominant females in all of motorcycle racing. She is getting ready for the big SMX Outdoor Series. She'll try to proudly represent NGPC in that regard, and the question is, can anybody stop her? She is just so tough, especially when she's kind of like the female version of Dante Oliveira out here.
Yeah, and then she made that transition over to the SLR team, I believe, a year and a half ago now, and she didn't miss a beat. She's definitely making Mark and the team proud of being able to support her, and she's making a lot of little girls look up to her. That's for sure. So that's I think we just caught her when she was going through. So that we just saw Low Lord go through that we just did that feature on, and then that's Nick Nay's part of the plus 25 class that I believe Trevor Hunter is leading right now. I think he crossed the line right before Nick Nays did. So definitely have to. We'll catch up with Trevor a little later in the Swifty crew.
The Swifty crew, that's for sure. And guys, if you are confused too, you can check out the NGPC website. All of the different colored backgrounds have a designation out there that will tell you what class we're on. In case in point, there are the yellow backgrounds out there. I know Mark Tilley has to run a particular background for his category. You can also find this information out on the NGPC app, which will give you points, standings, and everything else. Now, the only time you change that background is if you're the leader, you get to run the very prestigious special colored point leading background. In Supercross, it's the red plate. Out here, red plate as well for the Open Pro category as well. That's why Dante's bike always has the red plate on it.
Yeah, and they have different designations for different classes as well. But yeah, it's
not to be confused with Giacomo's red plate out there. That
I think the Open Pro class is red plate. And then the leader in that class will have a white with a red number.
Yes.
Whoa, Dare is right on.
Yes, he is.
So he has gotten around Giacomo. Dare DiMartile has gotten around Giacomo Redondi on that Kawasaki and put his Beta into second, and he is all over the five-time. So we'll see, because these guys, like we said, battling it out last weekend on two strokes, and now they're back to their day job, and
deja vu all over again, man.
Exactly what happens.
The battle continues. It raged on in San Bernardino. Now we're about an hour and a half or so from San Bernardino down here in Paula, California, and here we go once again. Dare DiMartile has seemed to find a different gear, a different speed. And right now, that Beta is cruising. Mark, what do you attribute this to? Has Dante slowed down, or has Dare found another gear?
Yeah, I think he's just starting to get comfortable. Dare's a fun rider to watch. When Dare starts whipping it sideways and kind of feeling his flow, he's just a fun rider to watch. And coming through the moto sections now, Dare has a motocross background and raced Pro Nationals and Supercross, and then transferred over on a Beta into off-road racing a few years back. But yeah, I mean, when Dare starts flowing, he's a fun rider to watch. And the better he flows and the more he's whipping it sideways, the faster he's going.
And look at this lap traffic. This could play a factor. Dare might have got just a little bit too over-aggressive there, sensing he's getting close. But look at this. This is where lappers are really going to come into play. Whoever this gentleman is in front of Dante held him up, and I can't blame him. That was a single track section right there. Advantage Dare DiMartile, because when Dare makes the pass, there was an opportunity for that lapped rider to get over. Dante now gets a little loose as we get through the rocky section.
That's nice that we can get down closer in these. I mean, these Skag Racing sponsored drone cams are awesome. But look at that. Look at all those rocks. That's amazing that those guys can go through it that fast. But yeah, Dare, like I said, he's putting that beta up there. He's kind of flowing a little bit and making it to where he pulled right up to the rear wheel. The other thing is, not only do you have to deal with the lappers of the actual physical presence of the lappers, but when you get into that stuff, it's the dust that they create. So the dust that they create can be the difference between being able to charge it and stay on his back wheel. And there was what you were talking about earlier, coming that transition off. You know, once you lock those rear brakes up, they start sliding. You don't have anti-lock brakes in your on your KTM or Beta for sure, and on that Kawasaki either.
Yeah, definitely knowing that those knobbies are going to be silty and sandy heading into that pavement section. That is one where you have to proceed with caution. Dante got a little bit of a breather here thanks to the lapper. He was able to get around him. So we're seeing the pros and cons of lappers be an advantage and a disadvantage for each rider. Just really depends on the luck of the draw, the section on track. I'm sure that's going to start to come into play with Dante and others. You got to try to get around those lappers before you get into the single track section, or you will get held up. Look at the dust too. Visibility going to be a problem back there. Now, I know it was raining in San Diego when I landed. I heard LA got a little rain yesterday. Did we get any rain here? It really doesn't look like
a fairly decent amount of rain here yesterday.
Hard to believe, right?
A bunch of rain at Glen Helen. Glen Helen had a race going on, and they had to stop the racing to where they could...
Yesterday.
So, yeah, so they could work on the track. And even this morning, it was sprinkling a little bit here. So, again, the Shamrocks doing a great job getting this course prepped and ready to go. But, yeah, there was 3 races. My son Austin was racing on a 65, and he had to race in... He ran roll-offs for the first time, and so he had to run those roll-off systems, and he had to race in the rain, and then... had to race in the rain as well. So it's, you wouldn't think about it, but these overcast skies did dump some water yesterday.
So much to talk about. Stay with us, guys. Round number 4 of the Rocky Mountain ATV MC NGPC Series presented by FMF, hosted by the Shamrocks, presented by Honda. We'll be back right after this.
Thanks, fellas.
Business in the front, party in the back. The all-new Kawasaki Ridge.
So one of the growing classes here, especially on the Sunday side of it, is the plus 25 class. Now, we have standing next to us Trevor Hunter, who is basically the man to beat in this class. And so we're going to talk to him a little bit about it. So, Trevor, you've gone from the pro ranks, and now you're still racing the same race, but you're racing in the plus 25 class. What made you make that transition?
Honestly, I was just looking for more fun. Racing against Dante, Mateo, and Tyler Lynn, all those guys are so fast, and they get paid to race and whatnot. And I go to work on Monday, and I ride when I can. But overall, works. I make money working, not racing motorcycles. So, just going to the plus 25 class. It's a lot of fun. We're all there for the same reasons, and honestly, it's a lot of fun racing with those guys.
Well, now it's a lot of fun, and you're having a lot more fun. But the competition is no less in the plus 25 classes, because it seems like there's a lot of guys in that plus 25 class.
Yeah, no, it's always stacked every race. I mean, you can guarantee 8, 10, 12, 15 guys every single weekend, and there are no slouches. Justin Workman, Nick Nays, Nick Stover, Nick Garvin, all those guys are all really fast, and I think any of us could win on any given day.
Well, yeah, we like kind of keeping an eye on you during the event and everything like that. Now, have you changed the way that you train, or is it kind of just show up and ride?
Honestly, I probably train less than ever just because I'm working more and more. But yeah, I ride when I can. I test motorcycles, kind of like you. But really, I train probably less than ever. But I'm gonna have some good hype up music before the race, and I think that gets me going.
Yeah, well, Taylor can get some juices flowing in you and get you motivated to go fast, that's for sure. Now, when you're doing this and kind of going through the plus 25 class, is there anything that you do differently than what you were before, or is it just all about fun?
Honestly, I almost race the race harder now than I did in the pro class. Just I wasn't super competitive in that 450 class, and the 250 start catching you, and you won't get in their way. So now that I'm in the plus 25, I'm racing for the win. I'm racing forward the whole time, and I sprint as long as I can, ride a good pace. But I'm still cautious enough that I'm not trying to get hurt. None of us want to get hurt. So it's fun, but I feel like I can race it harder and faster, and it's fun doing it.
Well, and it's a lot more fun when you get to cash those Kawasaki contingency checks. So is there anybody else you'd like to thank for getting you here?
It's my mom and dad, my whole family. We're all racing families, so it works out well. Prairie Dogs MC, 1-800-DENT-DOC, DirtBikeTest.com, TCS Power Sports. Kawasaki gives me a bike for the year to race. That's really helpful. Orange Theory Fitness keeps me in shape, and Mimi, and my girl Dua Lipa.
Well, there you have it. We got to keep an eye out for Trevor. See if he can keep those winning ways going. And, it is really hard to balance between keeping the fan club going for Taylor and riding motorcycles.
A lot to unpack there. Love it. Great interview. And Trevor Hunter, certainly one of the rising stars out here. Loves Taylor Swift, loves Dua Lipa. Hey, music choice aside, tough as nails for sure. Ever improving. And Mark, I got to say, I know he is Craig's son. He could kind of pass for your son. He's almost like your mini-me. He says he's a test rider. Is this the next dirt bike test rider in the making?
Well, you know what? We actually, he was going to work for us, and then he couldn't do it last minute. He does stuff with Jimmy Lewis with Dirt Bike Test.
Cool.
So he does do a lot of the same stuff that we do when it comes to testing wise and stuff like that. And I'm sure that 1-800-DENT-DOC has him popping out some dents and doing some stuff. I think we went to that feature strategically to show that what we saw in that while that feature was running is a pit stop for Trevor.
Yes.
And I think Craig just wanted to steal the spotlight there.
Well, yeah, that was what we were talking about with Mason Simmons. I believe a lot of these racers, sometimes the strategy when we go to tracks is push it till she's almost empty and then fill it up. Here, it's like they want to go to the point where they know they can fill it up and run till the end. And a lot of people are Well, surmising that is now. Now's the time to pit. At least that was the case for the 22 with Trevor Hunter.
And that will give you more of a consistent bike feel if you, because you add, most of these tanks will hold about 3 gallons. So if they're pitting early and doing that stuff early, then it doesn't give the bike, like, the hardest thing is to get all the way down to where it's all the way at the bottom, and then you have a light bike, and then all of a sudden you put a bunch of gas in it, and then you have a heavy bike halfway through the race or three quarters of the way through the race. So I remember when I was racing on the pro division, my dad would yell at me when he dumped gas and said heavy bike, because it changes when you can do that. So it's definitely a different feel when you do that kind of stuff. So that might be more of a consistent feel and to go from there, because that is going to change your suspension and change all that kind of stuff along the way.
Very astute, my friend. Yes, gasoline does weigh a lot. Hey, we've hit some of the great sponsors here today. We're going to continue to hit them. We thank each and every one of them, and a special one that we want to shout out. I told you the legendary Bob Bell is here. So is his very accomplished son, Robbie Bell. Let's learn a little bit more about Precision Concepts. One of our great sponsors out here and one of the biggest names in dirt bike racing is Precision Concepts. It is wonderful to be joined with the legend himself, Mr. Bob Bell. Bob, I got to talk to you because not only does your company continue to evolve, your products, your services, so do your headquarters. You got new digs. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we after 17 years of being up in Riverside, we moved down to Lake Elsinore. And it was kind of a forced move just because of the owners of the building we were in and stuff. But we've been actually really happy down there. We have a suspension area, and it's kind of isolated from the rest of the shop. But then we actually have an area now that we're working on bikes. We can do full bike builds. We can do split cases, do motors. Pretty much anything you need done with a dirt bike, everything is in-house, and we can pretty much do it all.
I think it's all those years of knowledge that really benefit the customer. Something else I want to ask you about, too. There's a lot of different forms of motorcycle racing. Very different and distinct what they do here at NGPC. 90-minute grueling motos. What's the best advice you could give to a racer in this series when it comes to setup, bike build, bike prep? What is your philosophy?
Well, it is true. Grand Prix are one of the most difficult things to set up because you got areas of desert racing where you'd want suspension for that. You've got areas of motocross where you want suspension for that. So it just varies so much. So trying to come up with a setup that's like a compromise is and it's a challenge for me, but I enjoy that challenge, and stuff. It just makes it fun to try to figure out how to do it. But we kind of know from track to track. We keep a list of every track we've been to and all the changes we make for those tracks, so we can apply that to any customer from novice to pro. And that's been, it's a challenge, but it's actually fun for me. I enjoy the challenge. So.
Well, I think that's what keeps you going, and that is why racers appreciate your vast knowledge so much. Speaking a little bit about your pro team, I know you work with some superstars out here. Colton Eck comes to mind. He's having a great season. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what it's been like working with him and who else you have running for you this year?
Yeah, Colton's awesome. I got started with him at the beginning of last year, and great guy, great family, and very fast racer, obviously. So he's actually, I've been testing with him for a year, almost a year and a half, and that's been very invaluable and stuff. Yeah, he unfortunately had a little bit of a tumble at a Hare and Hound, and he's kind of working his way back from that. But and then other riders like Mason Simmons, he's at the front of the 250 Pro Pack every race. And then Sam Persher, same thing. I mean, he's been winning all the national Hare and Hounds in the 250 Pro class. And Cole Zeller, he's going really fast and just gaining more and more speed. And so he's right in there with those guys. Who else? I have a hard time remembering all the names. But those are some of the main characters that we run with in the pro class. And, pretty much every race we're a threat to just sweep the podium in the 250 Pro class. And that's what I enjoy.
I agree with that. Well, you got a smile on your face, so I can tell you still enjoy it. Thank you so much. And finally, as we wrap this up, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you? If somebody's watching this and they say, hey, I want a Precision Concepts build, what's the best way to look you up?
You can go online, and we have a Precision Concepts email, or you can call us. We have cards at all the races and stuff, but basically if you just go to Lake Elsinore and look up Precision Concepts Racing, it'll pop right up. And then it has all our information on it. You can also go to our website, precisionconceptsracing.com, I think it is. I don't do that side of it much. I do the technical side of suspension, so I forget some of that stuff. And we also have an amateur support program we run through Ryan at the shop, and that's Precision Concepts sponsorship at gmail.com.
Very cool. Hey, look them up. Google's a wonderful thing. I know they can find you. You're easy to find. So, guys, check them out. They can do a lot for you. They've got new headquarters, but the quality and experience remains the same. Precision Concepts, a name you need to know. Thanks goes out to Precision Concepts and all of our wonderful sponsors that make this broadcast possible. Let them know in the comments, like Seek Concepts, like Skaggs Racing, like AHM, like, of course, Beta, the official motorcycle of NGPC, Ride Engineering, FMF, all of our great sponsors. Thank you guys so much. Support those who support your sport. Now, speaking of Beta, who we mentioned moments ago, Dante's starting to open up a little bit more of a comfortable lead on Dare. You're taking a look at the big number one, top of your screen. Let's see if we can see how far that Beta is back. Oh, Lapper. Boy, that Lapper did Dante a solid right there because...
That was Trevor.
That was Trevor. That's the 22. The Swifty. Getting it done. Team Dent Doc, if you get a ding, give him a ring. And he knew right away.
Oh, they're coming in.
Oh, he's coming in. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Dante in for the pit stop. These factory KTM boys led by Bobby Dawson. There are the WP employees I was talking about. Brody DeMartile looks like they're hung up with a set of goggles. Oh, man. And did you notice the difference? This is the home field advantage of being 30 minutes from factory KTM. There were 4 guys helping with that pit stop. In the Beta pits, it was only Dad, Brody DeMartile. We need to send a plane ticket to Carlin Gardner and the Gardner brothers and all those boys and get them. They were just in Pittsburgh last night. We got to get them out here to Fox Raceway to help with this pit stop. Red flag. Did we see the red flag fly there moments ago? Maybe that was an inadvertent red. Thought I saw a red fly. Dante Oliveira, look at this, skying it out big time. Remember, this is a man who ran Washougal last year. That's where he was injured, collided with Malcolm Stewart. But he is fast enough to certainly compete in pro motocross. I know that for a fact. Speaking of pro motocross, here's some breaking news for you, Mark, that you may or may not know. Dare DeMartile will run Hangtown. We will run the outdoor with the factory Beta team, Benny Bloss and Mitchell Oldenburg.
That's where he comes from, and that's his backyard. So I think he's going to do great up there. It's nice to see. So those guys getting around the Swifty again right there.
Is that the Swifty back up in there again? Wow.
They pitted and he kind of got out on him, and I believe he's leading the plus 25 class, and it doesn't look like there's anybody that's challenging him. So. Again, Dare not letting Dante get very far away. So I don't know where Giacomo is out of the picture as of right now, but Dare still in the dust, getting through this dusty section. And then it seems like in the flat cornering, he does catch back up to him. So definitely a great aerial coverage. Yeah,
thank you, Max.
Brings you right into that brings that into your living room. That's for sure, and that's tough. That's why that's a pro only section.
Yes, Max McSamo, our expert drone pilot, part of Ross Fitz Productions here, bringing us the action up close and personal as Dante tries to pull away. Dare DeMartile gives chase. Does that factory Beta have anything? Speaking to Dare's father, big changes on the bike from Mesquite here too. He had it sealed up really, really tight for all the silt and mesquite. He said he opened that Beta back up, brought the holes back open in the airbox, trying to make maximum horsepower out here as Mason Semets flying over the jumps. Keep an eye on that, man. I got to ask you this, Mark Tilley. Is Mason somebody that could potentially be bar-to-bar with Dante next year? Is he that fast?
You know what? I think so. You give him more power. He's in great shape. He's got good bike skills naturally, but you never know until they step up to that class. And Mason out front, leading that Pro 2 class, and newcomer Dustin Davis, impressive, definitely impressive in, I believe, second overall right now. And I know in our live timing and scoring it shows Sam in front of him, but on the starting or the grid right there, it shows that Dustin Davis is in second place. So even if he's running top 3, that's definitely good for a rookie.
I got another interesting factoid for you too that I was unaware of. We'll see what Mark's take on this is. I assumed these guys would be running race gas. Mason Simmons, mechanic, told me they're running on 91 pump gas. They said they've got it mapped very tame, all for reliability. But I found that a little bit surprising. Mark, what type of fuel do you run in your bike?
I run 92 octane. It's most of the manufacturers are their bikes. The 4-strokes are designed to run better on 92 octane or regular pump gas. So that is Dustin Davis leading Sam right there. So pretty impressive that Dustin Davis, first year on in this Pro 2 class. Last year he dominated the A class, but first year in this Pro 2 class and doing a great job on that gas-backed zip tie racing machine right there. And you can tell he's got some bike skills. I think maybe some of that stuff might run in the family.
That's right. He's got a heck of a mentor. If you don't know who we're talking about, his legendary father, Ty Davis. We've got to speak with him many times. It was great to talk to him a few rounds ago, too, and he talked about what it was like to take those daunting steps up in categories. So he was the perfect mentor to give the much-needed advice to his son.
And a fun fact, the only probably the only team manager out there to win a Supercross title. Because Ty Davis won a 125, I believe it was West Coast Supercross title. So not even the great Timmy Wiegand has been able to run and win a Supercross title. The Timmy being the team manager for the KTM team, but Ty Davis in the zip tie racing, and the Ty also had zip tie racing Yamaha and back in the day with running Big Six and work stuff as well. So definitely helped a lot of riders come up.
Another rider I want to talk about, we haven't seen him much today. We'll have to see exactly where he's running, but a banner year for Honda's Tyler Lynn. He won at Glen Helen, won down in Mexico. He was contending for the lead in Mesquite before a bike problem caused him to drift back. But Tyler Lynn out of SLR Honda, always in the mix. Let's find out a little bit more about Tyler Lynn. When you get off to the best start of your career, you certainly deserve an interview. Congratulations to SLR Honda's Tyler Lynn. Tyler, how you doing it this year? A 4th and a 3rd. You are red hot, my friend.
Yeah, had an awesome off season. We're on a new bike. The new 25 Honda is really good. You know, we've been putting in a lot of work, and man, to start the year out like this has been awesome. You know, I struggled last year with the start of the year, the NGPC schedule especially. So to come out like this is super good.
Is there one thing in particular you can point to over the offseason that you did that's different from years past that has you doing so well here in 2025?
I think the biggest thing is just maturity. I'm coming into the season with just more of a level head. You know, if I get a bad start or something happens to me, you know, I don't let it affect me as much. I'm coming in just more confident and, you know that the work that I'm doing is, you know, other people aren't doing it, and it makes me a better racer.
You know what's so cool is this team, SLR, such a powerhouse, and we know you got a lot of resources over here, a lot of great mechanics. What's it like been working with everybody in Mark Samuel's crew over here?
Yeah, the whole team's awesome. Obviously, Mark, you know, putting together this whole program is, you know, unreal. You know, it's the best, I think, you know, and then the mechanics, they work day in, day out, you know, all week, you know, getting us the best bikes, the best equipment to run these hour-and-a-half races. And, you know, I've yet to have any bike problems on my Honda in the last year and a half that I've been with them, so it's been super good.
And finally, what I've noticed is this team and a lot of these other teams are mainly comprised of local California racers. You're from Utah. How did you get hooked up with this team from Utah?
Man, yeah, that's kind of a long story, but I started racing the National Hare and Hounds when I was 15. And started racing the Pro 250 class soon after that and won a championship, and then just started getting the attention of other teams. I was formerly on Purvine Racing, and then I moved from Purvine Racing to the Chaparral Kawasaki team that's shut down just a couple years ago, and then that's when I got on these guys. It was just after that, so I've just slowly worked my way up the ranks, and just good results, championships, and just being a good person helps me get to this point.
Amen. Well, continue with that, guys, because he's moving his way up the ranks, and his results are getting better each and every time out. Wish him good luck. Tyler Lynn here in 2025. So, Mark, help me out. Let's see where the 24 of Tyler Lynn is running. Maybe not his best day today, but he is definitely up there. That is the 24 right there, SLR Honda. Looks like, is that Giacomo Redondi in front of him? Let's take a look as we...
That's a
lapper. I'm sorry. That is a lapper off the pace.
I don't know if that's Tyler right there or if that is Surratt.
Well, they got a lot of talent over there at SLR, that's for sure. And visiting with Surratt pre-race, man, I feel so bad for him because here is a man who's excelled top 10 in Supercross before, top 10 in motocross before, and he was really explaining to me just how blown out his knee is. Medically, he couldn't even explain to me. I'm like, are we talking ACL? Are we talking what's left in there? And he said everything needs replaced after the season. It's blown out. He's racing in a lot of pain.
Yeah, I was really bummed because he was coming into this season. I know last year when he came back from shoulder surgery, didn't have a ride, and I was lucky enough to have him for a little bit testing bikes with us and doing stuff with us. And a great guy, like always willing to jump in and help. And then he got hooked up with Mark Samuels in the SLR team, and he was going fast. He was going really fast. And the practice day practice at Delano, he tweaked his knee, and he's kind of just getting through it. And it's pretty amazing that he's able to get on some podiums. He's able to help the team win some Baja stuff, and so I can't wait to see him healthy because him healthy is going to be awesome.
I second that. And how about this development? You're taking a look at it. This battle heating up. Dare DeMartille not laying back. That beta breathing. That beta feeling good in hot pursuit of the factory Red Bull KTM. Dante Oliveira, Dare DeMartille. What a treat it has been to watch them battle all over the great state of California. Now, Dare had a great finish here, and it is not often that Dante missed here slightly last year. Cole Martinez actually took the win here. I wonder if that gives a confidence boost to Dare, knowing that Dante can't be beat.
If you remember last year, it was flipped because Dante was faster in certain sections, and then he would get right up on his rear wheel, and Cole would make it to the off-road section where that was a little bit dustier and a little bit harder to pass, and then he's able to pull out a little bit and kind of keep it. And when we talked to him about it after the race, he was like, yeah, I knew he was faster in other places, but if I got to here first, he couldn't really do anything for me. So maybe he learned from that, and he's doing the same thing. Right there, we saw Low Lord go by, who I believe is leading the two-stroke open class. And then there's the man, Mason Simmons, leading the Pro 2 class as well, coming in right behind him.
And is that Moto KK in the side of our screen? Is that Dante who just went by? We'll get a closer look at it as Dante and Dare, though, continue to battle. I think we're in for a treat, in for a fight to the finish, as we've got about 20 minutes remaining. You see the clock up there, 23:19. Remember, it'll be a minimum of 90 minutes here at one of the most physically demanding sports and series in the world. It is the NGPC. Can you believe we're already at round number 5? Seems like we just kicked this thing off. One more round before we go on summer break. That comes up in June. There's Dante.
Dare right there.
Is that Dare right behind him, or do we got a lapper in between?
No, that was Dare right behind him, so he was able to stay closer to him in the rock section and in the dust. So this might be a lap to where he might be able to pull up a little bit closer and potentially make a pass.
We'll see. Does Dare DeMartille have anything for Dante Oliveira, who's running out there with his MX-34 Nobby today? Did some testing here all week with Bobby Dawson. Asked Bobby, what are some of the changes? He said he needed more hold up in the forks at Glen Helen. He said you need more rebound here due to all the rocks. Those are some of the changes on Dante Oliveira's bike.
Yeah,
Pretty good
changes.
Do you agree with him? Is that also the changes over at Team Tilly? Oh, look at Dare now. Dare closing in. Dare starting to show him a front fender on that Beta. Oh, Dante in the loam. Is it the mistake Dare was waiting for? Fistful of throttle on that Beta. And boy, it has been so fun to watch these teams. I love the passion of Team KTM, and I got to tell you, Mark, every time I go to Supercross Media Day and cover it, I love visiting with the Beta boys. They watch every single broadcast. They listen to every word you say. They are big NGPC fans, and they love cheering on Dare DeMartile. Somewhere right now, the man who helped develop this motorcycle, Carlin Gardner, is hoping his man Dare can score the first win of the season. What would be the second Beta win ever in NGPC in the Open Pro category?
Yeah, no, the Beta guys are all over it. I had Carlin call me after we had said something on a vlog on the Dirt Bike Magazine vlog, saying something about the 450 off-road version of the motorcycle that we were testing, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you say this about it. Like, let me get my tech down there, and I think we can make some updates and do some stuff, and I think that it'll fix your guys' problem." And the next week, they were down there and they were working on the bike and it did. It helped out a lot with it. And so it's great to have those guys. And Rodney Smith is my media guy from Beta. But
legend.
It comes down, and if we need anything, they're there to help us. And they're there to we get to test. I mean, it's great for me because we get to test a bunch of different motorcycles that they have. The Beta 200 that they have. The Series NGPC is giving away a Beta.
Yes.
So go on their app, go on their website, look to see what you got to do to get signed up. You can actually have one bike pretty close to what you're seeing on screen battle for the lead right now. You can win it, and I don't think it costs anything to enter, and it's definitely a great thing, but it is. It's all the Beta guys are great as a help. And when you have the Supercross and Motocross race team guy calling you as a media guy, it's pretty cool.
It is awesome to visit with them. And I don't know, Mark, if you've watched any of the stuff I've done on the Racing Jack YouTube channel with the team, I'm always advocating for NGPC. I'm twisting Carlin Gardner's arm, and I say, hey, end of the year, a truck comes back to Northern California. We got a race in Havasu. Could we get the Beta factory rig there? How cool would that be? Craig Hunter, keep working on it for me. Call those boys out there. That would be awesome to see the whole Beta. And maybe you get Benny Bloss and Mitchell Oldenburg out here to run an NGPC and see how they adapt.
Tomac did. There's been lots of motocross guys that have done the final round in Havasu. And then even GNCC guys coming out and doing stuff as well. But my buddy Tyler Shepardson from On the Pipe podcast, we go back and forth on which coast is the best coast for off-road, and he very lovingly pointed out that Thad Duvall has come out here and won on the West Coast as well. But man, this battle heating up. These guys are all over each other. Dante not cracking under the pressure though.
Never. He's got nerves of steel. He's got a Dale Earnhardt-like psyche. You cannot break Dante Oliveira. Although we did see him make a rare mistake at Glen Helen and prove he was human. He ended up taking a corner too hot.
So hard to do.
Oh,
that's amazing. Dare came through.
Oh, Dare DeMartile showing Dante Oliveira front fender. Contact is made. Contact is made, both boots on the ground. We've got ourselves a battle with about 15 minutes left to go. It's Beta versus KTM, DeMartile versus Oliveira. Who will blink? What a battle.
Well, and these guys both from Northern California, too. Or I think Oliveira's is maybe from a little bit more Central California, but I got to believe that these guys have raced each other in the past.
Oh, many times. Heck, we just watched them battle 7 days ago, 8 days ago in Glen Helen. They were both on 2 strokes. Now they're back on the 4 strokes. As for Dare DeMartile, too, he did not go back home to Northern California. He stayed here in SoCal, rode with Ryan Surratt all week in practice. I'm surprised he didn't call you, Mark. I saw you had Carson Brown over at your house. You had I was enjoying the Dirt Bike Magazine Instagram account,
I got Surratt doesn't live that far from me either, so I'm going to have to talk to Ryan and say, hey, what's going on?
You got all the big dogs around here, all the top talent, as, boy, Dare seems to be really fast in that section. Here comes another lapper, and I have a feeling, I don't want to give anybody the announcer's curse or jinx, I have a feeling lappers are going to play a factor in this battle because we got a lot of lap traffic coming up. We got a lot of single-line racetrack, and we've got two racers nose to tail right now as Dante tries to get by this lap.
And Paula will rut up more than other Southern California tracks, so Paula does get some pretty deep ruts in it. So
now I would think, you tell me, too, in this situation, this course, the lappers are going to be much more of a disadvantage for the leader because if we're at a section where they can't see the blue flag, when Dante goes by, they're going to know, get off to the side. But it may take a few minutes to be aware of that. They may still think they're racing for position in some instances. The 22, Trevor Hunter, did a fantastic job. He got passed by both these guys twice in one lap. That's hard to do, right? But he did.
Yeah, you're either doing something right or you're something really wrong if they're passing you twice in one lap.
Trevor was one of the ones that decided to come in, get a splash of fuel, top it off early. These guys stayed out a little longer, and we have a thrilling battle. Orange versus blue. KTM versus Beta here at the Country Club of Motocross. Paula, California, Fox Raceway, round number 5 of the NGPC series.
The Beta guy's got to be happy with everything that Dare's doing. If they're not, I mean, he's making this bike look really, really good. It's just amazing that he can, like you said, basically on the road 2-man team, and they're getting it done. So like, when he starts whipping it and starts going sideways like that, big stuff starts happening. That's for sure.
Not much separates these two fierce competitors, treating us to some horsepower theater. And if you're wondering why we haven't talked about the rest of the field, these guys have walked out. They have checked out on the rest of the field. We'll try to give you an update on our running order just as soon as we can. But right now, the headline, the story, the pertinent information, what's topical, KTM versus Beta. And there are the lappers I'm talking about. And we got more coming, guys. And that is going to be disadvantaged Dante. If you're Dare DeMartile, you're hoping for a lot of lap traffic, especially as we break into this single line section up here and take a look around. This isn't Supercross. There's not lights on the track. There's not flaggers. That's a media man right there. Nobody's getting the blue flag. Got to believe that, and Mark, you know this, I'm sure they can hear Dante coming, but it might have made that rider a little bit nervous. Yeah. Sometimes you get nervous when you hear somebody coming behind you hot.
And like we were saying before, not only
244. Now get it. That 244's got to clear out.
Not only are they dealing with the guys that they're racing against, so Dare's got to deal with Dante's dust, but he had to deal with that lap rider's dust and this lap rider that's coming up. So the more riders that are there, even if they're not causing you issues, you're dealing with their dust.
Yeah, and another thing that's very different than Supercross, too, is normally when you're getting lapped, you're way out of the race. I mean, these guys with the staggered start are legitimately racing for position, but has Craig Hunter and the staff at NGPC coached up some of these riders on what to do? Is there a standard etiquette in NGPC for when the leaders come through?
Yeah, you want to hold your line. You don't want to make any sudden line changes. You want to hold your line, but let those guys move out of the fast line. We know what the fast line is. Like that rider just moved out of the way.
Nice job, good etiquette.
And then kind of get to the other side of the track or the other side of the course and do that. So yeah, they do definitely do that. But sometimes you can't get out of the way in time. Like sometimes these guys come up on lapped riders so fast that they don't know what to do. So it's kind of, try to stay calm, try to hold your line, and but when those guys are hitting the speeds that they're hitting and coming up on a maybe a slower rider, it's hard for those guys to just get out of their way. None of those guys want to be in their way, that's for sure.
No, nobody wants to get in the way of that battle. Major implications here in round 5. Dante Oliveira continues on the gas. Dare DeMartile certainly not giving up an inch. Two of the best riders in the world right now, ready to give us this nose-to-tail treat for the next 12 minutes. Looks like the lappers have somewhat cleared out for now, but trust me, they're not gone with 12 minutes of racing still left.
This is a section that Dante buried it in. It was that turn that he buried it in a couple laps ago that let Dare get right up on him. So, but it does seem like Dare is faster in these flat corners. because this is where he seems to kind of get up close to him and last lap trying to make the pass at the end of these sections. So we'll see if he can keep that momentum going, or if Dante kind of went to school and will be able to make up some time on him.
Oliveira showing us why he is the 5-time defending series champion, the ISD gold medalist, 2 times Works champion, West Hare Scramble Pro champion. He is your all-time NGPC win leader at 29, looking for number 30 here today. 43 podiums for this young man. Can you believe it? Just absolutely dominant in this series. As for Dare DeMartille, we told you last year, made history for Beta, scored their first ever NGPC win. He wants number 2 right here, right now, but he's got work to do.
Well, and again, it's impressive that he's staying this close, especially in these conditions. I mean, earlier in the day, all that was really wet and really slippery. Now these guys are getting into blue groove, kind of flat track style stuff, and it's definitely amazing that these guys are able to push the limit and stay this close to each other, because they've checked out. There isn't anybody close to them. And as you can see in the plus 25 junior A class, it looks like Workman has moved into the lead, and Trevor Hunter now kind of 22 seconds off the lead. So we'll see if he can get some motivation from the Swifty crew and get back up there into the lead and see what happens. But Justin Workman coming from behind and making that pass.
Is it a bad omen that the 22 is 22 seconds back? Or is it a coincidence?
Is it a good one?
I don't know. We shall find out. We know that his father is now a superstar, a reporter. Hopefully we get to see him more reporting, doing a great job.
Him in the booth.
Tremendous NGPC talent. For sure.
He's got a face for radio.
That's a move over Jenny Taft. As here we go, Dante Oliveira, Dare DeMartille continue to battle. Great coverage courtesy of Seat Concepts and also our friends from Skaggs Racing. Big thanks, Tim Skaggs. If you need insurance, look up Taz Insurance for sure. Tim does it all.
They take care of medical insurance, 401k, and just know that if you're helping him out, you're actually helping the team out, because he is the driving force behind that Skaggs Racing and helping out those amateurs and a couple pro riders as well, or A riders. And so I like to always do that. I like to basically help out whoever's helping the sport out, and if we don't, those people aren't going to be around very often, and then it's a slippery slope. That's
we learned a lot about Tim Skaggs today. I'm a big fan of his. What can't he do? Pro race car driver, water skier, snow ski instructor.
Yeah. No, I mean, he was sitting there and we were, so tell us a little bit about yourself, and he kept going. It's definitely a nice thing. Now, this is right where...
Wow. Look at how quick
DeMartille tried to make a pass last lap. In that turn right there is where they made contact.
Oh, here's the lapper that I was talking about. This lapper, I don't think off to the side. Dante with the outside groove. Looks like it might have slowed him down just a little bit, though. Dare taking advantage. Oh, that lapper closing in. That's where those lappers got to give him just a little bit more room, if you ask me.
Yeah, they got to be a little bit more aware about what's around him. Especially, he saw Dante. And it's definitely one of those things to where we got to say a little bit. But so it looks like in this area, in the last couple miles of this race course, right before they go into the motocross section, Dare is hanging it out a little bit more, and he's a little bit faster. So if he can stay closer to him, he can potentially make that pass.
Dante seemed to get a little loose in that corner. Dare through without issue. And I believe we're coming up on that section where Dare actually made a little contact, right? That was back a few turns. That was his strength.
Now they're going into the motocross section. So now Mark, this is back in motocross.
You know better than anybody. If you're in this position, you know you've been close. If you're Dare DeMartille, you know you have the speed today, but you have an absolute dominator in front of you. What can you try here in the last 8 minutes that you have not tried all race? Is it time to roll the dice, or is it time to stay consistent?
It's kind of time to it depends, because different riders will do different stuff. For me, it's pressure. Get pressure on him, stay close to him, see where you're faster than him. He already knows where he's faster than him, but it's just I mean, when you're riding against somebody like Dante, who just has nerves of steel, it looks like it just seems like he's not affected. It will play into your mindset a little bit more, like, what am I going to do to get past this guy? So,
and ladies and gentlemen, the white flag is out. This will be your final lap, one last time.
So all bets are off now. He's throwing caution to the wind. Dante's going to try to go as fast as he possibly can, especially through this motocross section, and Dare's going to do the same thing.
Not much separates these two incredible racers. We just saw this battle, like I said, 8 days ago at the Two-Stroke Nationals. It now moves south to the NGPC Series. Great job by that lapper for pulling off, and we'll see. Does Dare DeMartille have anything left? Is there any gas left in the tank? Can he dig deep and try to stop that man who's been so dominant this season, Dante Oliveira?
Well, you look at it, Dante's going, you figure riding for an hour or hour and a half almost now, and then having to put in a sprint lap. Like, this is a testament to how good a shape both of these riders are in. I mean, Dare's throwing it. He's throwing that thing sideways. He's trying to get back down on the ground, get that beta moving forward, and, man, he's right up on his rear wheel again.
Conditioning, not a problem for either one of these very focused and poised, confident young men. Two of the best in the world. Nose to tail. KTM versus Beta. We got more lappers on the horizon. Lapper looks back. Dante gets through clean. We got another one coming up. Dare, does he have any tricks left? Can he try something he hasn't tried so far? Dante a little bit loose. That WP suspension. Working hard. Into the single track section. Dare seems to be fast here.
Oh, right. See? Now these are getting into some of the faster lap riders.
More aware, probably more situationally aware, but I'll tell you right there, big disadvantage. Unfortunately, that's one of our female riders?
Yeah.
That worked absolutely opposite of what I had suggested. She got out of the way for Dante, but then was kind of in the fast line for Dare.
Well, and then she might not have known that Dare was coming too, but there's nowhere else to go right there.
That's right, single line.
Yeah, it's a single line, so there was nowhere else for her to go.
Dare's got some work to do now as that gap widens. As we are on our final lap here, as we take a look high over the power lines, wine country, Paula, California, Fox Raceway. Hope you guys are enjoying every single minute of it. Jack Crapella, Mark Tilley here with you on the NGPC YouTube channel. Hope you're enjoying this live coverage. Big thanks to Ross Fitz Productions, all of our great sponsors for being on board with us today, making this happen. You guys are the greatest. Not only Skaggs, Honda, Rocky Mountain, ATV MC, FMF, our host, the Shamrocks, Seat Concepts, Precision Concepts, Beta, Ride Engineering, FMF. You guys are awesome. We'll also keep an eye on whoever wins that two-stroke class, going to take home a new pipe from FMF here today. Boy, Dante's starting to spread out a little bit. I think fortune has smiled his way, the way that the lappers have kind of fallen on this last lap. But anything can happen. We've seen it time and time again.
And I was a little surprised to see that white flag come out. I wonder if these guys were surprised as well. But
yeah,
I was a little surprised. Maybe we were just enjoying the battles that were up front. But I was a little surprised to see that white flag come out.
I wouldn't have complained if they pointed it to.
Oh, he's on. Dare is hanging it out. Like, when you were asking what's in the rider's mind right now it's do whatever he can, hang it out to get up to the back fender of Dante and have a chance to make a pass for the win.
Fist full of throttle, and I believe Dante's still learning his new 6-speed transmission. Was only his second race on it at Glen Helen, I believe. Ran it in Mesquite, running it here as well. Maybe was able to stop in, I'm sure, factory headquarters. Like I said, we're only 30 minutes from KTM's multi-million-dollar facility, the Pierre Mobility Group. Only about a half an hour from here, somewhere where I'm sure the great Mark Tilley has had the luxury of going many times. I got to get a tour. If they let a scrub like me in, I might have to go check it out.
I just saw one of my test riders go by. Harlem Nelson going by, and then that's Low Lord. We saw Surratt in the picture right there. But so that looks like that's the race leader, and then Dare is right on him. And this is in the flat section, so it looks like they've already gone through the tighter section on the other side. So they're going to kind of come up and do some switchbacks right here, and then they're going to work their way up kind of an off-camber uphill into the tighter section on the far end of the race course.
Here we go, guys. Final stages of this race. Dante Oliveira looking for a measure of redemption after
that's amazing.
He was not able to get it done here last year, and you don't normally say that about Dante Oliveira, but Dare DiMartino not giving up, closing in. Did make a lot of time there. Was that just sheer perseverance and fistful of throttle?
Grabbing the throttle and going for it.
Look at all this visibility. This is going to hurt Dare, but also Dante coming up on another lapper. Right now, if you're Dare DiMartino, you're hoping one of these lappers gets in the way of that big orange KTM. And again, I was 100% wrong, Mark Tilley. These lappers, the leader is having a better time getting through. I don't think these lappers realize how close this battle is, because it seems like they're getting out of the way for Dante.
And it's usually not this close. Like it's usually they're not right on top of each other. These guys have been this close for an hour and a half. They're treating us to some pretty amazing racing.
Oh, and this Kawasaki could be all that stands in the way of Dante Oliveira and the checkered flag. Dante, so fast on the straights.
So now that's the tightest section that they'll go through. So now they're back in the flat corners, back on the kind of flat track type stuff, and these guys will have ways to move or have room to move out of the way. So these guys, and I believe that's one of the back markers of the open class.
Dare told me there's a lot of flat track sections. He looked like a flat track racer there moments ago as we race towards the finish line. That Kawasaki racer getting out of the way. Dante Oliveira, fist full of throttle, opening it up. Dare not giving up. This one's not over yet, Mark Tilley.
Yeah, so this is the section that Dare got into. This is right at the end of they'll come up of a little rise right here. Dare pulls a really cool flat track right here. That right there is
great
hard to
job
do.
by Dare DiMartino.
So this is where they made contact earlier in the race, and Dare just leaves it on longer there.
Look at this gap evaporate. Dare staying on it. Dare going for something different. Tried an inside line. Might have hit a braking bump. Might have got thrown off center just a little bit. But Dare right back. There is no quit in this young man from Lincoln, California. And the steely resolve of Dante Oliveira. He will not crack. He will not break. You cannot pressure him. You cannot rattle him. But what a tremendous battle we are watching right now. Dare fires back. Fistful of throttle as we're closing in on a finish. Will it be Dante again? Or will Dare score more history for Factory Beta?
And it's just coming down to Dare's running out of places to where he can make a pass. It might come down to the motocross course to where Dare makes that final pass. Man, that was fast.
I got to say, too, it looks like Dare is definitely trying some different lines. He's trying some new things.
Well,
there's pros and cons.
If he's going to get by him, there's going to be some kind of contact made.
As we just gave you a look at what they're striving for, that Yamaha finish shoot. Dare continues to close in once again. Dare almost an opportunity to go too wide. Dare has made contact before. Is he willing to make contact in one of these corners? Probably something that Dante's not used to. In many cases, Dante checks out by this last lap. He's taking a stroll, but not today.
Well, there's two more turns. There's
2 more turns to go. And ladies and gentlemen, on that big orange factory KTM, can he hold off the Factory Beta of Dare DiMartino down the stretch here at Paula? Say hello to the magnificent, unyielding, unforgiving Dante Oliveira. What a race.
Man.
What a race. And let's give credit to where credit is due. That young man on the Beta gave it everything he had. And right now, I'm sure a show of mutual respect between these two. You can't ask for better racing than that when you go 90 minutes, a knockdown, drag out affair. And look at Darren DeMartile. He knows in the back of his mind he had an opportunity to win this thing, but congratulations to that team. Bobby Dawson, Dante Oliveira, Factory KTM, they get a thumbs up and a show of respect from Brody DeMartile, Giacomo Redondi with a fist pump. What a tremendous race we witnessed here for round 5, Mark.
That was amazing. That was one of those ones to where you forget that we're commentating and you just want to watch. You just want to watch. And Giacomo downloading a little bit with Dante and talking about their race. But, man, that was an amazing race. That was an hour and a half of 3 riders going at it for the top, and then an hour and a half of 2 riders nose to tail going at it. You can't ask for better racing than that. Now we got to remember that there's more than just the Open Pro class on the track, and we got to kind of come back to the Pro 2 class.
Oh, here's what blows my mind about Dante if you look at him right now. Does he not look like he's ready to hit the treadmill or hit another 90 minutes? He's not winded. He's not breathing heavy. Mark, I was just telling you I had the opportunity to go dirt bike riding with some friends that haven't rode in years, and they're winded after like 30 seconds. You remember just how tough this sport is. When you see a guy like Dante that could go 90 minutes that hard, put a microfiber on his face and look fresh as a daisy, you got to give a nod to the work that he's doing in the off season, on the off days, as he gets it done once again. Dante Oliveira gets it done. Who else will get it done? We'll find out. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the conclusion of round number 5 of the NGPC series.
Every generation believes they've invented the best way. With age comes wisdom. We've come to realize that every piece of knowledge is learned, passed down from those generous and patient enough to teach.
Let's take a look.
Legacy. It's not about leaving something behind to be remembered by. It's realizing that the future lies within the next generation.
Let's call it a night. All right.
The nature of true progress is humbly building something bigger than yourself. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. This is our legacy.
Thanks, fellas.
Business in the front, party in the back. The all-new Kawasaki Ridge.
Welcome back, everybody. What a day it has been. Still racing to the finish for many of these individuals. Jack Rapella and Mark Tilley with you for round number 5 of the Rocky Mountain ATV MC NGPC series presented by FMF, hosted by the Sunland Shamrocks, live stream presented to you by Honda. What a great day it was. Dante Oliveira, Darren DeMartile, great show they put on. We'll keep you posted, too. We believe Mason Simmons winning in Pro 2. Also believe Moto KK taking the win in the women's category, but we'll have to see how that shakes out as well. We'll have to also see what could be this career day for young Dustin Davis.
Yeah, it looks like Dustin was running second for a long time, and then I think Sam got around him for second overall or in that Pro 2 class. So it looks like Dustin Davis, according to live timing and scoring, like I said, we were all a little bit excited about that Open Pro finish, and we kind of cut away a little bit sooner than we normally do. But it looks like live timing and scoring is showing us that Mason Simmons will get the Open or the Pro 2 class win, and followed by Sam. And then Dustin, Kai Aiello would be rounding out the top 4. Cole Zeller rounding out the top 5 in that one. So, again, it looked like Low Lord was the man to beat again in the Open two-stroke class.
He's got a pipe coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's sponsored. He might already be sponsored by FMF. So might make it a definitely a good weekend. I know that we got to talk to him a little bit yesterday, and it's a great family backing him and doing stuff. So another rider coming across right there. It looks like a Honda rider finishing up his hour-and-a-half race. So all of these guys finishing up their races, getting it down, and then we'll be able to cut away to the podium and get to talk to some of these guys. I can't wait to talk to Dante and Darren and Giacomo to find out what happened, where he went, and how he fell off the back of that little freight train that was going on. So it's definitely going to be a cool podium interview, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. But, in these 90-minute marathons, all you ask for is a good show, good racing for the fans out there. We talk about how tough it is to cover, and our crew, Ross Fitz Production and Max with the drone, they do a great job, but oftentimes, you lose the leader or you lose the second and third battle. We couldn't ask for a better show than what Dante did.
Exactly. I mean, it's where we get some comments in there on, oh, you guys only show this or you only show that, and it's a great thing when we could show an hour and a half of that type of racing. Again, 3 guys going for it for at least the first hour. Brandon Krause doing a little stoppy as he comes across the finish line. But when you have racers that are giving you that kind of quality of racing, you never want to cut away because you want to do it. But we definitely have to cut away to the features and some of the other stuff. But like I said, we're going to have to take a break and come back and get those guys on the podium and get to talk to them, because there's going to be some stories. This is one of those podium interviews that we like to do because all we do is say, tell us about your race. And they kind of go off and they take it over to where we don't have to talk anymore. We've been talking for an hour and a half about what they're doing. Now we want to hear about what they saw and what they felt.
Yes. Cannot wait to hear from them. And looking ahead, all eyes turn to round number 6 in Marysville, California. That'll be cool. Before that, a lot of these competitors running MotoFest as well at Glen Helen Raceway. So that'll be a big deal. Stay tuned.
MotoFest. There's lots of stuff coming up. We're going to see each other for again in a couple weeks. So
I might as well move in. You got a spare room over there?
Yeah,
Can I take Carson's room?
In the shop, we got a spare room. That's for sure.
You put me in the shop. I get to sleep by the dirt bikes. I like that.
You get to sleep. Our buddy Jared Hicks from Backyard Designs stayed in my shop for a little while before he got the Backyard Designs USA thing back up and running and going. And so you can stay there. We might even fly out the old trusty CR125 that you have and do some work on that while you're here.
I like it, man.
You got nothing else. You can't film any videos if you're in the shop.
That's true. I like it. I told you we still got to get that battle too between 2 of my favorite riders, Dirt Bike Magazine's Mark Tilley versus Motocross's Action's Daryl Eklund, 1-on-1. I want to see it.
Well, I think we'd have a better shot at getting Mosman out at the track than we would.
That'll
Mr.
be a
Eklund.
battle. That'll be a battle.
And Mosman was here yesterday. He was actually running around and doing lots of stuff on a two-stroke. I thought that he was going to race the two-stroke open class, and texting him this morning, he said that he's not coming here today. I think he had some other stuff that he had to do, but definitely with Josh, he was probably in church because it's Sunday, and that's definitely a very strong Christian. So bummed that Josh wasn't out here and racing today, but nice to see him yesterday. We posted some stuff of him ripping around that KTM two-stroke on our Instagram, and I believe that'll probably be on his and MXA's Instagram here shortly.
Very cool, guys. Make sure you follow all those socials. And, Mark, you are being summoned to the podium to go talk to these fine competitors, so we'll hear from you in just a little bit. Great job by Max flying the drone around Vendor Row, showing you some of the inside access. And there is the 1, 2, 3, the battle of the manufacturers in the third spot, that pro circuit Kawasaki of Giacomo Redondi, which has come so far this year. In the second spot, coming home on the box, Dare DiMartile, Factory Beta. Tremendous job, and standing high atop the podium, the big red number 1 of the five-time defending series champion. He is the one and only Dante Oliveira, and the very talented Mark Tilley is down there ready to do some interviews. Really appreciate Mark. Remember, he wears a lot of hats at these events. He rides, he races, he brings his family to these events, and he also works the podium and does a great job on the live stream for us as well. I see the talented Craig Hunter of NGPC down there as well. Bobby D celebrating. They are all out ready for a podium celebration here at Paula. Our own Mike Bratowski will have the shot for us, and we will hear from our top 3 finishers in Open Pro. What a great day it was, guys. Let us know in the comments. Hope you have loved the coverage. Again, thanks to all of our great sponsors in the series for making this happen. Love being here with you. Again, my name's Jack Corpella. I'm from the Racing Jack YouTube channel. Mark Tilley from the Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel. And I believe in just a few seconds, he will give us our podium finishers. Look at this track. Prime condition as well. All right, at this time, Mark Tilley has our top 3. Take it away, Mark.
So, Jack, we're down here on the podium with the Open Pro Class podium. We're going to start with Giacomo Redondi, who finished 3rd in the Open Pro Class. Now, Giacomo, you were up there with those guys. You're battling for that top position. And then about the hour and a half mark, it looked like you kind of dropped back a little bit. Dare got by you. Take us through your race.
Yeah, yesterday, as you saw me in the vet race, I had a pretty good crash. But, it was 80% on my left shoulder, but in the beginning, the Dante and Dare, they were pushing very hard. I tried my best, but I was feeling a little bit tight. But then at the end, I keep my flow and my rhythm, so I think I finished 10-15 seconds from the leader, so I'm pretty happy about that and looking forward for next round.
Well, we did get to see that crash, and I was talking about it, but we did get to see that crash in the track map, and I was just about to say, oh, yeah, and he went down right here. So, so you're all good from that, no major problem.
No, just some scratch and a little bit the shoulder, a little bit swelling, but it's fine.
So now you've been going fast all weekend long, and out there in some of the flat sections, you go really fast. Now, is that because of like the World Enduro stuff that you've done, kind of sliding around a lot and being a little bit, or is it just your riding style?
I grew up in the parking lot. That's why. No, I mean, for sure, the enduro skills help me in this kind of situation, and I think I'm happy. Looking for more race like this.
Well, and you gotta give it to the Shamrocks to putting together this course to where the dust wasn't really a factor like it has been in some of the years past, giving you guys a course to where you can race on it and everything like that. So who would you like to thank for getting you here?
Everybody from Pro Circuit, Precision Off-Road, Team Green, Kawasaki, Acerbis, GV, Alpine Star, Oakley, and everybody that helped me.
All right, well, there you have it. There's 3rd. We're going to walk over here to 2nd, and Dare DiMartile on the Factory Beta. we had a hard time trying to talk about what you guys were doing because you would pull up on him and then he'd kind of pull back out a little bit. It looked like in the off-road section you would get a little bit towards the end of it. You'd get kind of right there. You guys made some contact. Tell us about your race.
It was good. I got off to a great start, and just put my head down. And unfortunately, Redondi got by me right before the pro section. He had a sweet line and ended up sneaking right by me. So I charged hard and ended up getting around him and started working on Dante and just tried to minimize mistakes and just ride smooth and be consistent every single lap. But it was a great battle between me and him. We came together a little bit. I drove it in on him, and he shut the door on me. And we rubbed a little bit of elbows, and we kept it clean for the most part. But my whole Beta USA 480 was just awesome out there in the rocks. The dust was a little bit a factor for me just because of how close we were, but definitely the Shamrocks did such an awesome track compared to last year. Last year was way more dusty, so it was cool to have great motocross, some flat track, and some technical rocks. So it was a great course.
Well, now, last week you guys were battling on 2 strokes. Yeah. This week you guys are battling on 4 strokes. What's it going to take to beat this guy?
I don't know. If I knew that, I would have already done it. But, no, it's fun. I love racing against, good competitors. And, it's great. We battled at 2-stroke. He got me there, and he ended up getting me here. So it's cool. It's something for me to work hard and, take all my learning stuff from the races and get back to the drawing board and, come out swinging. So I try hard every event that no matter if it's a 2-stroke or NGPC or a work. So I'm happy that I stayed on 2 wheels, and what a great show we put on.
Oh yeah, it was an amazing show. The Beta crew has to be happy about how good you're making this bike look. Who else would you like to thank for getting you here?
Of course, the whole Beta USA Liqui Moly team, my manager Carlin, my manager Brian, my mechanic, my dad, my girlfriend, and all my friends and family at home that are sitting back watching. I felt really good this weekend, and I knew it as of yesterday. During practice, I felt really good. I felt like my bike was going to be really competitive here with how the course was laid out. And just the whole team, FXR, Liette, CD Boots, ARC Levers, HBD Graphics, Seat Concepts, Bridgestone Tires, Kite Wheels, and FMF, everyone else was awesome.
Well, and it was fun to watch. We know when you start getting that Dare Demartail kind of flow and flicking it sideways off the jumps, we're in for a good race. So great job, and look to see you at the next one. So now the man, the myth, the legend, Dante Oliveira took the right from the start, and just like nerves of steel. How did these guys were all over you all race long. Was it in your mind? What were you thinking about them, or were you just going for it?
Yeah, actually, that line I passed him on the start, my mechanic pointed out yesterday. I was ripping inside the whole time, and he's like, hey, watch that outside. So Dara ended up getting around that first trim first, and I saw that outside wide open and just held on to it and made the pass and just put the hammer down. And, I just try to focus on myself, hitting my marks and just staying smooth and consistent and charging where I can and getting through where it's a little bit trickier. So, the FMF Red Bull KTM team does a great job getting me the bike to get the job done, and it handled great out there. We have a great team with T-Bone, Tom, and Bobby D this weekend getting me comfortable. So, hats off to those guys, and it feels good to get another one done and be able to hold these guys off for an hour and a half.
So now Bobby D not just giving you the bike to do it with, but now giving you line selection choices and all that kind of stuff. So when these guys are all over you like that, how do you keep them behind it? Or are you just trying to hit your marks and just move forward? Are you not thinking behind you, or do those guys kind of get in your head a little bit?
No, I just hit my marks and move forward. They're going to do what they're going to do, and I'm going to hit my marks and keep charging. So if I see a front wheel coming in, I'm going to give it a little more and keep pushing so we can keep that number one up front.
All right, Jack, well, there you have it. We were wondering what was in his mind and what he's thinking about. He's not thinking about anything. He's thinking about going as fast as he can and hitting his marks. Back to you.
And he's doing a wonderful job at that. A magnificent talent. Definitely one of the best all-around motorcycle racers in the world, Dante Oliveira. But he's got some talent standing there with him on the podium, so it'll be very exciting to see what what Dare DiMartile and Giacomo Redondi and team do to try to close that gap as we head into round number 6 in June. In Marysville, California, they'll have a little bit of time off. But when we say time off, we mean time off from the series. These racers never really have any downtime. They'll be training. They'll be burning gallons of fuel. They'll be competing in other series. And they'll be ready by the time we get to go. Congratulations to each and every one of them. What a great race today as we take a look high above Fox Raceway, these beautiful surroundings. Hope everybody has an opportunity to take a trip down here. Like I said, you won't regret it. The heart of Southern California, not far from popular Temecula, casino not far away, and of course this round number 1 of the Pro Motocross Series, which we will see here in 1 month from now. But boy, Pro Motocross has their work cut out for them to provide as good of a show as we saw here in the NGPC Series. Again, big thank you to all of our great sponsors who make this possible. And of course, that starts with Rocky Mountain, ATV, MC, FMF, Honda, AHM, Skaggs Racing, Seat Concepts, Precision Concepts, Beta, Ride Engineering, and FMF. Thank you guys so much. Another broadcast made possible here, courtesy of Ross Fitz Productions. Let's take a look at your unofficial Pro 2 results as the 1X Mason Simmons does it once again. I'd like to know, too, maybe our very talented podium reporter, Mark Tilley, can find out roughly where Mason finished overall. I think he was up to 4th at the last race. I mean, he just keeps really stunning with the overalls. And we're going to look at Pro 2. I think our next up on the podium will be our women, so we'll get to hear from Moto KK, Ava Silvestri and company. But right now, taking a look at the Pro 2 results, Mason Simmons, Samuel Pritchira, Dustin Davis coming home on top of the box. Career performance for him. Big congratulations. We'll talk to them in mere moments, but from what I understand, the women are up next, and it was hotly contested again. And listen, please, everybody watching out there in YouTube land, share it with a fast lady. We want to see more women in this category. Speaking of our pro women, let's send it down to Mark Tilley, who has more from our lovely ladies.
All right, Jack, we're down here with the women's pro podium, and third place we got Maddie Weber. Maddie, take us through your race.
I feel like it was pretty good. I didn't race the last race yesterday to do like the pro section, which I probably should have done. The rocks were a bit of a surprise. But I feel like I just tried to ride pretty smooth. I had like one little incident with the rocks, but luckily I had a big enough gap between the girls behind me, so I was able to stay in third. So overall, I think a pretty good race.
So now, have you done a lot of the NGPC series? Are you following the series, and are you going to go to all of them?
I haven't been following them this year. I followed it all last year for Women's Day. I just kind of try to make each round I can if I'm in town. I'm following the National Hare and Hound, so I'm trying to do that. But yeah, if I'm in town, I'm racing.
So you're more doing National Hare and Hounds and all that kind of stuff. What's the difference between training for a National Hare and Hound and training for NGPC?
I feel like it's pretty much the same. I haven't done much different training-wise. They're a lot longer, but I feel like it's less, I guess, intense, like right off the bat, so you kind of can breathe more. But they're a lot harder than this, yeah. But
all right, so is there anybody you'd like to thank for getting you here and helping you get to all these races?
Yeah, my parents, of course, my sisters, I always have to mention them. And then, let's see, RD Suspension, he's been helping me a ton with my suspension, the Olins. Dan Paulson for kicking my ass in the gym. And then Kurt Nicole, he helps me a lot on the bike.
All right, well, hopefully we see more of these and not just at the National Hare and Hound. So good luck, or congratulations on third place. And like I said, hopefully we see you a lot more. All right, so we're going to walk over here to second place, Ava Silvestri. I heard that you might be a little banged up. So we saw that you got the start. You kind of went underneath Moto KK and got the start, and she got you back. So you're riding hurt. So tell us a little bit about that right off the bat.
I mean, for the most part, I wouldn't say I'm hurt or anything. I just, got a little bit of ejectocito last weekend at a off-contract race and kind of just beat myself to the ground. Not like I said, happy to walk away not injured or by any means. But, yeah, definitely not ideal going into an actual race that, is part of what you're doing. But, we made the most of it. A lot of people wanted me to sit out this weekend, but, I made a decision that I was fine and okay. So, yeah, I wrapped up the bruises and the cuts and all that and just went for it today. And honestly, I didn't even have a problem with it. I wouldn't say that was an issue by any means. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to put that out there and say that that's a reason why I got second today. So, yeah, no, I think I honestly am really happy with how I rode. And, yeah, there's a lot of positives from today. So.
Well, now you're doing the West Coast Hare Scramble Series as well, or you're doing the National Hare and Hound. Okay, so National Hare and Hound has more rocks and stuff like that typically than what a NGPC does. So did that help you in this pro-only rock section?
I definitely felt a lot more comfortable in that part of the course for sure. I definitely lack on the moto side for sure, and that obviously showed for 100% today. But yeah, the rocks, even though racing hare and hounds, obviously there's a lot of rocks, but I wouldn't say it's my forte by any means. But I'm definitely a lot better in that stuff, in the technical stuff. The faster stuff still a little bit foreign to me, but just trying to figure it all out and be well-rounded and everything. So,
well, I can definitely feel you on the moto section because these jumps are huge, and I'm all about not staying on the ground and going as fast as I can. But so, is there anybody that you like to thank for getting you here?
Of course, my family above everyone, and Gas 395 Motorsports, Trolley Designs, FMF, Blood Lubricants, Fast Company, Dirt Tricks, Racer Decal, and just everyone else. Thank you.
All right. Well, congratulations on second place. And then we turn around to Michaela Nielsen, Moto KK, as everybody knows her. You look really comfortable on the motocross track here. You're doing jumps that I didn't even think about doing and making it look easy. So take us through your race.
Yeah, I got out to a good start, but I just didn't really turn, and then kind of got stuck in second, and then she kind of checked up on the middle jump, and obviously, I probably ride this track 2 to 3 times a week, so I'm pretty used to all the jumps and how it kind of shapes up. So, yeah, just hit that and hit into first, and just try to manage in the rocks and attack everywhere else. Didn't really want to lose it in the rocks, but everywhere else I'm pretty comfortable with. So, had a good race, and bike worked well, and just had a good day.
Yeah, well, you ride the track probably a couple times a week, but that back section is gnarly, and there's probably nothing that prepares you for that.
No, I mean, a couple times here and there, I'll just go mess around in the back over there, but yeah, for the most part, it's just track only, and yeah, that one's pretty gnarly, so.
All right, so it sounds like you have an interesting kind of schedule coming up. You're going to do some moto, you're going to do some more off-road stuff. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Paula starts up here for the WMX at the Pro Motocross Series, so I'll be racing Friday, and then so I'll go Paula, Hangtown, Thunder Valley, and then right after Marysville, and then I'll have a summer break at least, and then right back to it, going to Unadilla, Ironman, and Budds Creek. So pretty stoked about this summer's racing.
All right, well, who would you like to thank for getting you here?
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my sister, everyone watching back at home. My boyfriend, SLR Honda, for putting my bike up on this box just as much as I put in the effort. So, yeah, everyone underneath our tent is great to work with. So, just like to thank everyone under there.
All right, Jack, well, there you have it. There's the women's pro class. Back to you.
Great job, ladies. A thrilling show. And how about that Moto KK? Over a year unbeaten here in NGPC. Can't wait to see how she does when she starts the Women's Outdoor Series. Great job by Ava and Maddie and Ty Woolslayer and Dana Rayner as well, all 5 of our lovely ladies here today. We want to see more of them. Let's get the recruiting going. Like I said, I want to see a field of 10 in the women category. I would love to see it out here, that's for sure. We've got Pro 2 standing by. We're going to talk to them in just a little bit as we take a look at the clouds out here. Now, keep in mind, we talked about some of the rain that came in this weekend. It's hard to tell. This ground is so dry, so dehydrated, because they don't get much rain out here in California, as you know. In fact, this could be the last rain they see for quite some time, for many, many months. But ideal conditions out here for racing. Paula, California, was a beautiful day, cool and comfortable. A great round before we look ahead to what should be a really hot round in Marysville when we get into June. And then, of course, we go down for summer break. Give these riders a rest to prepare. And as Moto KK said, a lot of them competing in different series. Some of them will be part of the Pro Motocross Outdoor Championship. Getting up on the podium right now, though. We'll see what class is next here. Again, we want to give a special thanks to FMF for giving out that pipe today to the winner of our two-stroke category. Give a big shout-out to Beta, the official motorcycle of NGPC. Remember, you need to enter on the NGPC website, enter that raffle for your chance to win a brand new Beta motorcycle. That'll be coming at the end of the year. Really cool shot out here. Max, our very talented drone operator. Great job, Max, as always. Follows the action so well. I'm telling you, behind the scenes, guys, it takes a small army to pull off this live stream. So I really want to thank these hardworking individuals with the red sweatshirt on down front and center. That is Mike Bratowski. You're talking about a 40-year veteran cameraman. Does a fantastic job as we give you a look around the pits. Some of the teams starting to roll out. And speaking of hard work, for a lot of these teams, the work just begins. They got to tear down. They got to load the bikes. They got to go back to wherever they are based. Many of these teams based close to Paula, California, so it won't be a long trip home for many of them as they get ready for the next round, especially Team KTM. Like I said, they're very close. Now, I do believe Mark Tilley's got another podium for us. Let's send it down to Mark Tilley.
All right, Jack, we're back down here on the podium, and this is the first time that we are going to see the two-stroke open class on the podium and be able to interview these guys. So sometimes, for some of these people, this is the first time we will ever see them. So third place in the open two-stroke class is Seth Christensen. I said that right? So Seth, take us through your race. What happened out there?
I felt like I had a pretty good race. My start wasn't the greatest, but I slowly picked it off through the pack. Super rough out there, so it's just picking good lines is a must. So just found some good lines, kind of stuck with them, tried some new ones, and just pushed through the whole race and felt like I had a pretty good run. So
now, have you been doing the NGPC series, or is this kind of one of your first races at this? Where do you come from? Tell us a little bit about your background.
So I've been doing the whole series for a couple of years now. This season I didn't race the first couple of rounds, just out for injury, so a little bit late to the game this year, but overall it's been a good time. And
have you been in this two-stroke open class for a few years, or have you kind of moved through the ranks?
So this is my first year in the two-stroke open class. Previously, I raced the four-stroke A. Last year was my first year doing that. So this year's my first year on the two-stroke. Thought I'd try something new.
So now, going back and forth from going from a four-stroke to a two-stroke, is there any different training or bike setup or anything like that you got to do different?
For me, nothing too different. It's just learning how to ride the different bike. Me personally, I feel like the two-stroke has more power than the four-stroke. So overall, it just kind of works me a little bit harder. So a little bit more training is definitely necessary for it.
So now, are you going to go to the more rounds now that you're back from injury and kind of going? Or do you plan on doing the rest of the series?
Yeah, so I plan on doing the rest of the series. So just go clear to the end.
All right. Well, who would you like to thank for getting you here?
I'd like to thank my mom and dad for making the drive out here every race. I really appreciate that. The whole Reason MX3 Bros team, they helped me through getting my bike set up, pits, everything. So I'd really like to thank them. FXR, Max's Tires, Bell Helmets, Factory Connection for keeping my ride smooth through this rough terrain, and everybody else, thank you so much.
All right, well, congratulations on third place, and hopefully we'll see you at more of these. All right, we're going to walk over here and talk to Kyle. Kyle, is this your first time on a podium and in the open class? It looks like you got the Simi Valley Cycles, is Gary and the crew over at Simi Valley Cycles behind you. So I already know you got a good team behind you. So tell us a little bit about your race.
Race was all right. Got a decent start. Was like mid-pack. Ended up, I was like third or fourth through that. Then in the rocks back there, got low. Then after that, couldn't hold on much longer. Then like mid-race, he got me. Then Tank was in there too. I don't know what happened to him. Hopefully he's all right. But after that, just held my pace. Then Lowe was in first. He held that. Good job to him. Then I was in second. Just stayed on the bike. That was the key.
So now, is this what you do? Do you do off-road stuff? Tell us a little bit about yourself. This is some people, this is the first time they're seeing you. So tell us a little bit about you and then kind of who your sponsors are and go from there.
Yeah, so I've been doing the series for about 3-4 years. I do Moto too, so I mainly do this now. I was like, I'm going to stick to off-road now. I moved up to A, then I was like, I'm sticking to that. But yeah, I'd like to thank Simi Cycles, TRE, Fast House, Mika Metals, EKS, God for keeping me safe, my mom for coming out, Roos Media, always be getting the clips out there. Matt, Jay from TRE, they're the best. They always help me out. But
yeah, it sounds like you got a good group. I know probably half of those people you said, and they're all great quality people. So when it comes to the A class, you've been in the A class for a while. Training for an hour-and-a-half race, how much training goes into that?
I try to go to the gym at least 3-4 times a week, but try to ride twice a week to get in between work and that. Got to fit that in, but you just got to have that endurance.
All right, well, congratulations on your second place finish. Hopefully we'll be seeing you a lot more on this podium and maybe talking to you a lot more.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and we're going to come around. Now, I got to meet you yesterday, Lo, and talk to your mom and the family that are behind you and everything like that. We got to see a feature on you and got to see all that stuff, but take us through your race.
So had a pretty good start. I think I was in about second, third. I don't really know. Was doing good. Got the pass for the two-stroke lead on the moto track, but I was stuck behind some of the vets, which I wasn't too mad about that. And then Kyle got around me because I was being squirrely Steve in the rocks. Just didn't really know how to ride. Tried to pace with Kyle and just kept making mistakes. And then eventually Tank got around me and then kind of just rode my race, pushed myself. And then after the pit, I was able to catch Kyle and then caught Tank. And don't know what happened to Tank, but hope he's all right. Hoping for a speedy recovery. Want to get back to racing with him, but was able to just get a nice pace and bring it home from there.
All right, well, and the guy they're talking about, Tank Summers, hopefully he is okay. We didn't get to see him on TV and see what happened to him, but again, hopefully he's okay. So who would you like to thank for getting you here, Lo?
My mom, Rob, my grandma that's in North Carolina watching the stream right now, Martin, Motion Pro, Fly, Flow Vision, Mike from Asterix, 707 Suspension, PCP, Works Connection, Singe Graphics, and anyone else I forgot. Thank you so much.
All right, Jack, there you have it. There's the feature class this week with the open two-stroke class, and these guys are definitely hauling the mail, and we'll probably see a lot more of them. So back to you.
Great job, guys. Congratulations. And again, thanks to FMF for handing out a brand new pipe to Low Lord, taking the win. Love the two strokes. Let's keep them going, guys. Let's keep them smoking. Great job in two-stroke A as we give you a look at the unofficial results here as we get ready to turn our attention to the next category coming up, Pro 2, where we'll hear from Mason Simmons and crew about a hard-fought moto out here today, round number 5 of the NGPC series from Fox Raceway. Great racing all around. What a show it was. That's pretty cool. Low Lord was shouting out his grandma, too. Shout out, Grandma, watching in North Carolina. That is cool. We appreciate you guys spreading these broadcasts and sharing them and making them just bigger and badder as we continue to go, make the audience bigger and badder. It was neat to walk around. I told you I've been walking around the Supercross pits with some of the stuff that I'm doing on the Racing Jack YouTube channel, and a lot of people, they watch NGPC. And I tell them, hey, watch NGPC as much as you can. Support this channel. Keep it going. Keep it growing. Subscribe. And thank all those wonderful sponsors that keep us going to great facilities like this. Can't wait till we get to Marysville. If you remember from last year, that's the track where it looks like it's snowing because of the cotton that will fall on the racetrack up there in June. And that one will be here before we know it. Why don't you, too, if you are watching on YouTube, why don't you drop your location down below in the comments? We love hearing from you. We love knowing where you're watching from. Any feedback you want to leave. It can be positive. It can be negative. Be nice. That's okay. You can certainly criticize me. What we like to remind you of, too, though, is it's a very hard job, and this production crew is doing a fine job. One of the hardest motorsports to cover when you're talking about a 7- and 8-mile track at some of the places that we go. They do a lot with limited cameras, and we're always looking to increase our sponsor base and add more cameras and continue to improve this broadcast, which we hope to do for years to come. But they've come a long way in 3 years, I can tell you that, because 3 years ago, it was nothing but talk. It was nothing but a vision. And look at us now. They made it happen. They made it a reality. Bringing NGP inside the living rooms, on the devices of many motorcycle enthusiasts worldwide. All right, I believe the one and only Mark Tilley has our next podium. Let's send it down to our resident reporter, Mark Tilley.
Okay, Jack, we're down here for the last podium of this race weekend, and it's the Pro 2 class. There's a little bit of shakeup in the Pro 2 class. It looks like Kai Aiello coming in with the third place at the very end. So Kai, take us through your race.
I had a good race. I hole shotted, led the first lap, which was great. My speed's been pretty solid lately. I got into second behind Mason, and then I had a big crash. Got back going again in fourth, and then pretty much rode fourth the whole time. And finished physically in fourth. Dustin beat me, but there's video of him going inside a hay bale. So it's honestly a pretty bad situation because he did beat me, but at the same time, we're all out here racing. It's our job, and you have to set the standard of staying inside the lines. And so, I honestly wish he just went around the hay bale and played by the rules because it would have made it a little easier for everyone. But we got third, so I want to thank my team and the whole Three Bros Hatch Husqvarna team and Fox and just everyone that supports me. I really appreciate it, and we'll work harder to be up here with the boys next time.
Well, and we'll have to apologize to you on that one because I know on the live stream I was saying that you weren't up there, that you were back in third because I didn't see the big Fox gear and all that kind of stuff. So this kind of Fox gear blends in a little bit. But who would you like to thank for getting you here?
Yeah, my family, my mom, my girlfriend, everyone that came out today, I appreciate their help. And they're always killing the pit and everything. It takes a village to be up here. So, I'm very grateful to be here. And, like I said, the whole Three Bros Hatch Husqvarna team and just everyone that has my back. Factory Connection, we made a lot of good strides with the bike. And, we'll keep working hard and try to finish out the season strong.
Well, we definitely got to take some notes from you because it seems like as you are progressing and everything, you're getting more good-looking women in your pits than anybody else. So shout out to you on that one. You're doing a good job there. So we're definitely going to walk over here to second place. Sam on the box again in second place. One thing I got to ask you is, and it's been a debate, but how do we pronounce your last name?
Prashira. Honestly, not too upset if you just say Sam. It's a lot easier.
Well, and that's what I was telling Jack when he was saying it. I was like, you know what? I can't say that. I'm just going to say Sam. So, again, second place. Take us through your race.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I got a pretty decent start. I just spent way too long out there trying to figure out how to ride. Around the hour mark, I really, figured it out and started to make a good push and made a pass. And just kind of rode it into the finish, and I feel like I didn't ride over my head, but I definitely rode consistently, and I think that's what counts on a day like today with the rocks and everything. It just makes it really easy to make a big mistake and go down, and in these races, you can't afford to go down. Even little mistakes are, make it hard to come back from. So it was really just a matter of me just trying to figure out what I was doing, and I was trying to figure out, where I could make time and why I was losing time, and it was really just trying to open the track up a bit for me, honestly. And that's what I worked at, and it worked. I got an hour in and was able to start making a decent push.
Well, and I know that you, with the man that's standing next to us, I know you ride and train with him. He's your buddy and everything like that. But, working with Robbie Bell and the Precision Concepts team, what's it going to take to beat this guy?
It's always something to work for. And though I'm, it's always good to be confident. I know at this point in time it's not quite what I'm up to yet. So I'm just putting everything I can during the week to get closer and closer. And eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to do it.
Well, that sounds good. Who would you like to thank for getting you here?
Just the whole Three Bros Hatch Racing, Troy Lee Designs, Precision Concepts, Robbie Bell, well, the entire Bell family, honestly. They do so much for Mason and I, and they really help us out week to week, and they're amazing. So, the whole Husqvarna crew. Benny come out from Australia, and he's been helping in the pit. Bob has also been helping in the pit as well. He's nailed all my pits the last few race weekends, which has been awesome. So, it's been great.
Well, I know that Brody Tryon is helping out in the pits over there. He's part of the Pit Boss Bob pit crew. So we're going to turn around to Mason. Mason, another dominating performance out front, got out front early and just seemed to check out. So what was it like from your point of view?
Yeah, it was a good race. Not too great of a start. I was into third, I think, once I got into the off-road section, and then, or maybe fourth, I don't know. And then, yeah, I was in third for the first lap, made 2 quick passes, got in the lead, and, just tried to keep it on 2 wheels and rode consistent and, pulled that gap. And I felt like I still had a bit of energy left at the race, which was good. And, I just felt like, just had to be consistent out there. It was definitely a tricky track. Like Sam said, it kind of took me as well a little bit to find a flow and, just keep it rolling. But, yeah, it was a good day.
All right, well, who would you like to thank for getting you here?
Yeah, the whole RPM KTM racing team, Cameron, Carissa, Mike's put together an awesome program this year, and all the sponsors associated with the team that keep this thing going. And, my dad made it out this time from Australia, so that was cool. And, heaps of friends and family, Steve, Donna, Diane, Benny come out as well. And, it's been fun having everyone out here and, just everyone else that makes this possible.
All right, Jack. Well, there you have it. There's the there's the Pro 2 class podium, and back to you.
Sets the stage for what's to be a very exciting round number 6. Congratulations to all of our top performers today, and thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We can't wait to see you right back here on NGPC YouTube for round number 6 from beautiful Marysville, California. For Mark Tilley of the Dirt Bike Magazine YouTube channel, I'm Jack Rapella from Racing Jack YouTube. We'll see you at round number 6 in Marysville. So long, everybody.
Give me their names. Oh, yeah. Jesus. I'm going up and going, nice, Charlotte. What's your name? Job helping.